alone. After years of hosting Phantom Gourmet on TV, it was time for a 180 in my life. And my goal is to lose 50 pounds by the time I turn 50. And that's coming up pretty quick. So just think about it. If I can do it in my line of work, anybody can do it. Because with Awaken 180, I'm losing weight while eating. Listen, I know all the best places for bar pies and roast beef sandwiches, but I didn't always know how to make the right choices when it comes to my health. What I'm now learning is how to pick and choose the right foods while losing
Hinton.
and keeping it off. For the best tips on local restaurants, watch Phantom Gourmet every weekend. For the best weight loss program, check out my weight loss program at awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We don't want to see our presidents assassinated. The violence has increased in part due to Donald Trump's own actions, but it's also increased due to the divisiveness and divisiveness of the nation right now in this political environment.
So you don't say. We blame the victim now. So you don't say. Donald Trump is responsible for someone trying to kill him. Ladies, victim blaming is back in style. Robbery victims, carjacking victims. Victim blaming is now the norm. Folks, and I did my best. I did my best to get that individual on the air today. I did my best. But he wasn't taking any phone calls. I wonder why. But if anybody knows the professor, I think he's a professor. I don't know. He teaches at the University of New Haven. His name is Rob Saunders. I don't know if anybody knows him. Perhaps he listens to the show. He'd be wise to. Perhaps he does. Here's him again. Again, listen very closely. We don't want our presidential candidates assassinated, but Rob Sanders thinks it's Trump's fault.
We don't want to see our presidents assassinated. The violence has increased in part due to Donald Trump's own actions.
Yeah, that's like saying rape is increased because girls are dressing sexier. Is that the case? Huh? They're saying carjackings are up because people are driving nicer cars. People are getting robbed at gunpoint because they're just making more money. Perhaps if you'd knock off that behavior, people wouldn't attack you. That's the zeitgeist now. It's going on everywhere. Everywhere. This guy was on WFSB as a professional, as a specialist. He was seen as somebody, an expert on national security. That's the message he put out there. Lester Holt, NBC News. It's Donald Trump's fault.
Today's apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself. Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio.
Is that the reason why he was shot at, Lester? Is that why? Because of whether or not Haitians are eating cats and dogs? Is that why? Hateful rhetoric? Come on, man. People talk about this stuff about condemning violence. That's never going to happen. Not as long as Donald Trump is the candidate. Let's just face that fact. If it's Donald Trump's fault, they only mean one thing. Donald Trump, you got to stop talking. Donald Trump, you have to stop giving speeches. Donald Trump, you have to start talking about the things that American citizens are upset about or frustrated with. You've got to be quiet, or else they're going to keep shooting at you, Donald Trump. Don't go golfing, Donald Trump. You're not safe anywhere, Donald Trump. Hide in a bunker somewhere, Donald Trump. That's what Rob Saunders is saying here. That's what Lester Holt is saying here. That's what every paid member of MSNBC is saying here. It's Donald Trump's fault that they want him dead. You know it, but let me go one step further. Because that in and of itself is simple. Two things must happen right now. And this is a horrible truth. Mark my words. These things have to happen because they have a serious problem on their hands. And what I mean by that is the swamp. And I mean all facets of it, not just Washington, not just elected officials. The news media is now a part of the swamp. All of it. They have a huge problem. And they have to correct it. There has been an assassination attempt on the former president of the United States twice. Twice. So how do they react? Well, they have to react to what people are going to say and what they're going to think. And it is quite evident that many people believe that the swamp is responsible, news media and elected officials, for their rhetoric. They know it because it is out there, what they've said about this man. It is absolutely irrefutable.
It is just unquestionable at this point that man cannot see public office again. He is not only unfit, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
Representative Goldman of New York about Donald Trump. Now, every facet from the CIA, the FBI, the DNI, DHS, IRS, CSI, NCIS, I don't care who it is. If you're involved with the swamp, you've got a PR problem right now. Because the average American citizen sees that assassination attempt, no matter who it is, responsible, be it Butler, Pennsylvania, or West Palm Beach, Florida. They think you are responsible. They believe that you put these gentlemen up to that. That's what they believe. Secret Service, too. Every facet of Washington, people believe that you have a hand in it. That's the way they're digging. Go online. Listen to what average citizens are talking about. They're trying to connect the dots to you. They're not doing what Lester Holt's doing. They're not doing what Ron Saunders is doing. They're not doing any of that. They're not blaming Donald Trump. They are searching online to find out how you are responsible. News media and Washington, the swamp. So you have a PR campaign that you have to salvage. So you have to do one of two things. You have to even the playing field, or you have to protect this man at all costs. Because if something does happen to him, they'll never trust you again. Anything about this government is done as far as a trustworthy steward of our republic. That's over. So I'm going to tell everybody here, whether you like it or not, if anyone realizes anything, that is, pay very close attention to what everyone in the swamp does in the coming weeks. You have to. You have to pay attention to everything that they do in the coming weeks, because all of that other stuff about how it's Donald Trump's fault is going to fall flat. It's going to fall flat. So they're going to do something, and they're going to be reckless. They're going to scramble. This is Washington. What do we know about Washington as of late? Do they screw everything up? Yes, they do. Do they fall flat on their face? Yes, they do. are the worst people in charge? Yes, they are. They are going to do something sloppy because they know all eyeballs are on them. So I'm just going to say, please, please increase the security of both candidates now. Increase the security of everyone that needs it now. None of this, he doesn't have as much protection as Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton. No, no, no. Increase his security now. Kamala Harris, the same. Increase her security now. Because at this point, she needs it just as much as Donald Trump does. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know me. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Increase the security on both of them. Because there are too many people playing games and they think that this is strategic. They either look at this in, okay, I'll just say it. People believe that assassination attempts are political now, in the sense of it politically helps a candidate. Now do you get what I'm saying? So increase the security of both candidates. You have to. Otherwise, as a PR, I'm just telling you, everyone, every reasonable person is only looking at one place. They're not looking at the shooters. They're looking at every apparatus. You've got everyone thinking that this is an inside job. Why? How did this bozo know the detail of Donald Trump going to the West Palm Beach golf course? How did he know? Where did he get an AK-47 from? How was he allowed to lie in wait 12 hours? None of this looks suspicious. This guy is traveling back and forth from America to the Ukraine. This guy is enlisting Afghans to fight in Ukraine. This guy is online trying to recruit people to join the war in the Ukraine. This guy's got features in the New York Times. This guy's got features in Newsweek and interviews with him. This guy is some average bozo who builds huts in Hawaii. And you don't think that anyone's looking at every 3-letter, 4-letter operation in Washington? So what do? You've either got to do the obvious or you got to do the other obvious. Increase the security of both candidates. I'll take one. Let's take one phone call. Let's go to Chris in Wethersfield. How you doing, Chris?
Good, Reese. How you doing? Thank you for taking my call. Hey, I think I've talked to you several times.
You have
before, and I have really flapped that. You know what? This country is getting crazy. The two-party system isn't working. Actually had you admit, and I had Tom Shattuck admit last week, I said, do Democrats lie to get votes? You said, yeah. I said, do Republicans lie to get us? You said that.
Of course.
I looked at, right. So now I'm listening to your intro here, and we're talking about media and, probing a PR campaign. And what I'm thinking here is, look, there are two sides to this, right? You're saying right now, you know what? It's not Donald Trump's fault. And these people are bad for saying that. And the other side is saying the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. The problem here is the media is feeding.
Oh, yes, absolutely. They're playing the ratings game.
Reese, here, let me boil this down to again. Reese, I'm listening to this show. This show leans towards the right, mm-hmm. right? So am I going to get a fair and opinion in my power? Because we all know that both parties are lying to get votes. Both parties are putting out this visceral.
But do you think that I'm playing? Hold on, Chris. Wait, stop. Let me stop you for a second. I apologize. Do you think by me saying?
No worries, dude.
No, okay. With me saying that we clearly have a problem here where people are looking at this as a political asset. You hear what I'm saying? In essence, I know that there are people on the right who are using this or going to use this as a political asset because we know that the campaign sent out fundraisers after the attempt. We know that, right? So in essence, using it as a political asset. On the other hand, the other side is saying, oh, Donald Trump, he's saying all this evil rhetoric. That's the reason why they're trying to harm him. What I'm saying is straight down the middle. Because people see this as a political asset, you got to protect Kamala Harris too, because some bozo may use this as a political asset and thinks, let's level out the playing field, if you get my meaning.
I got it. Okay, so now I understand where you're coming from. I do understand about you were saying about the security. Absolutely. I think everything is so volatile, and it sucks that we're like this way. And I hate it that we're this way. It makes us look weak against others.
Yeah.
I'd fear if we had another 9/11, which, hey, we could have an internal 9/11. We don't need people from the outside flying in. We have our own problems. And I'm worried that we're not going to get together. We're at 9/11 and solve the problems that are happening in the U.S. just because we're so divided. I've heard Harris and Walsh both say that Trump is dictator. He is a threat to democracy. But I've also heard Trump say the same thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know, I felt almost awesome when Harris and Trump shook hands. I'm like, there's a debate. There's a debate where people can use words and do it in an adult manner and shake hands. When they shake hands at 11, I thought there was a little bit of decorum.
Yeah, that was actually. I'll be honest with you.
Wasn't that weird?
I saw the
9/11
tribute where they both showed up, and Donald Trump. Not only I thought was really telling. Was that he not only reached out and shook her hand, but he took his other hand and he patted her on the hand, you know, which is like a friendly gesture. It's like, good to see you again.
See that?
Yeah.
Thank you. It was like, hey, you know what more in common than we have apart. And relatively, we always want to raise our family, have kids, we have have a good job. I think Americans, we are so divided, and I hate to see it happen because we're ready to, like, again, here, just the acts of violence that we're seeing. Hey, how about a hammer to the head of Pelosi's husband? Oh my God!
But that wasn't political. No, but hold on, Chris, funny. That wasn't political. That guy wasn't a political.
Well, what about?
He was a case. He was somewhat mental, but he was not political. I mean, he was all over the map, you know, as far as like what his beliefs were. But I don't think what his actions were political.
I got that point. One last one before, because I know I don't want to take too much of your time.
No, that's okay. I told everybody I was only going to take one for my monologue, but I'll let you go. Go ahead.
How about when Donald Trump got president? What do you think about? Remember when that dude sent out all of those envelopes? I think it had a white substance. I think it was.
Yeah. That was anthrax. Right.
You remember that? You remember that?
I do. In fact, he was living out of a van. And he was. You know what? I had to totally apologize openly because it didn't make sense to me because there have been so many false attacks on that realm. But the guy was clearly a Republican. And immediately everyone condemned him. Everyone did. So on either side.
More. Yeah.
On either side, it should be immediately condemned when it happens. What I'm saying, and I think my monologue sort of states that, aside from the fact that, one, stop using this as political fodder to advance another one's agenda. Don't use this because in this case, someone will turn around and say, let's even that playing field. We shouldn't. But on the other level is nobody should be victim blaming the news media or Rob Saunders at the University of New Haven. He should know better.
100%.
So
100%, Reese. I appreciate you. I appreciate the show. I love the callers, and you have an awesome day. And thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure, Chris. And I love it when you call, man, because it brings a sort of it brings a balance. Like I said, I don't want to talk to an echo chamber.
I like the debate. Yeah.
Thank you.
I like to throw ideas out, and I like to have you adultly come back with an opposite opinion and just, hey, maybe I'll.
I lost them. Anyway, we got to take a break. Chris, thank you so much. We'll take more of your phone calls on this as well. Don't forget, later on in the show, we got two things going on. We got Matt Fitch a Connecticut inside investigator talking about Eversource. If you read the article, it's lengthy. I hope you did. But if you got questions in the next half hour, I want you to give me a call and let me know if there's something you want me to ask him about his article, whether you read it or not. Plus, we got to talk about the ABC affidavit, the ABC News affidavit as well. So stick around for all that and much, much more, plus your phone calls. It's 860-522-WTIC. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Your vacation possibilities just got more exciting. Enjoy connections to over 20 cities across Europe when you fly non-stop to Dublin from Hartford with Aer Lingus. Great fares from Bradley International Airport, now available on airlingus.com.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles.
I'll be right back.
Which is our absolute F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm elder law attorney Haley Allaire. Our greatest reward is happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
Hi, I'm Mark, and my family's from Bristol. I contacted Allaire Elder Law after realizing I could not complete the Connecticut Title 19 Medicaid application on my own. I completely underestimated the amount of work and knowledge needed to not make any costly mistakes. A family I know tried to save money by doing the Title 19 work on their own. They made an honest mistake on the paperwork submitted to the state, and it cost them more than $50,000. Allaire Elder Law met my number one goal when I decided to work with them, to make sure my parents and their assets were protected legally so they can enjoy the rest of their time together and not worry about becoming one of the Title 19 horror stories. And our family cannot thank them enough.
Find out more at allaireelderlaw.com. That's ALLAIRE.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, Hartford temperature 81 degrees. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Former President Trump blamed President Biden and Vice President Harris for the apparent assassination attempt in Florida Sunday, saying, quote, "Their rhetoric is causing me to be shot at." Biden avoided politics, instead saying the Secret Service needs more help and more resources from Congress. Senator Richard Blumenthal, at an event in Hartford today, reiterated there's no place for violence in politics. He did say that a report on the first assassination attempt on the former president is still being worked on by Congress. Without elaborating, Blumenthal says what's in it will shock the American public. Fire at a mobile home park in East Hartford. Police say it appears as if an excavator working in the area backed into a propane tank, igniting it and setting fire to several mobile homes. No injuries have been reported. Michelle Triconis was in court today in Stamford to face a contempt charge stemming from her murder trial earlier this year. Triconis is accused of displaying on her court computer during that trial part of a sealed psychological report on the Dulos family. She was, of course, convicted of murder conspiracy back in March and other charges in the disappearance and presumed death of Jennifer Farber Dulos. Government and TikTok going head-to-head in federal court today as oral arguments got underway in a legal case that will determine the future of TikTok in the country. And Jane's Addiction has bagged the latest tour following an onstage scuffle between lead singer Perry Farrell and guitarist Dave Navarro. In a statement, the band says it made the difficult decision to take some time away as a group. The move comes after videos captured Farrell lunging at Navarro at a Friday concert in Boston. That led to the cancellation of a gig in Bridgeport on Sunday. WTIC News Time, 3:32. Here's the forecast.
For the rest of our Monday afternoon, mostly sunny and pleasant, the high of 82. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, Mild but comfy with the low down to 54. Another beautiful late summer day on tap for Tuesday with the high of 83. There'll be a light breeze out of the south-southeast with those sunny skies. Then Wednesday, it'll be mainly cloudy, but still pretty warm with the high of 79. Thursday, mostly cloudy with chance of a little rain, the high back to 79. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And for these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Glenn Zinn, the IS manager at Luxbond and Green, truly appreciates the service he receives from Tab Computer Systems.
I think responsiveness to any problem that we have, whether that be a broken printer or setting up new computers or a quote for a new computer. I've never really had a problem getting information or getting somebody to help me out.
Tab takes responsiveness very seriously.
I think that's one of the really good things at Tab. The people from the person you call, or I use the customer portal to send a service message, I get responses right away. So there is good coordination with the staff, and everybody's just so professional and nice.
Fast response from professional and nice people. Trust Tab's nearly 4 decades of experience. Call 1-888-TAB-4-HELP, 1-888-TAB-4-HELP, or visit tabinc.com.
I would definitely recommend Tab to any other small businesses in Connecticut. The professionalism has been wonderful throughout the years.
Technology's advancing business. Tab Computer Systems.
Nierenstein Horowitz and Associates knows it's easy to put off creating a living trust. Here's a simple way for you to take the first step. A free consultation to those who participate in our public seminars. Creating a living trust provides financial security for your family's future, and it eliminates any possible confusion. Attend one of our seminars, September 17th in Rocky Hill, September 18th in Orange, September 19th in Bloomfield, or September 21st in Norwalk. Visit preserveyourestate.net for more information.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
Buying a home.
1 minute.
Financial
Thank you.
decisions you'll ever make. Before you tour a home, the real estate professional you're working with may ask you to sign a buyer's agreement, which describes the services you'll receive, each party's role and responsibilities, and how your agent will be compensated, all of which you'll want to discuss with them up front. So work with an agent who's a realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors with a duty to honestly represent you and put your interests above their own, because that's who we are.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two have geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 10.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio. Taking your phone calls, of course. I will play them in a second. But look, I want you, again, listen. This is the zeitgeist. News media is all a part of the swamp. And Scott Jennings at CNN, I love what he says here. Listen.
But the rhetoric is on both sides. It's coming from the right.
The rhetoric,
it's coming from the left.
The rhetoric. They have tried to kill this man twice. Okay, he got shot in the ear, and this guy was sitting up shop outside of a golf course to try to kill him this weekend. And I know after something like this happens, it's very fashionable to talk about rhetoric on both sides. Donald Trump is the target. Okay, he's the current target, and it's happening, and it's happened again. And honestly, we have to have a conversation about elections. If you lose an election, the country's not going to come to an end, okay? What I want Democrats to do, honestly, is to say, it's okay. Like, if Donald Trump wins, democracy will not end, the Constitution will not end, we're not going to live in a dictatorship, there will not be a bloodbath. All the things they say that are totally fabricated, to me, it would be a good day to stop doing that.
And again, the part that I keep saying, people know, trying to use this nonsense about, the rhetoric's happening on both sides. Once you start hearing people start saying that, then the wheels start spinning on the opposite side. Oh, we could get something political out of this. I'm sorry, folks, that's just the place where we are today. And you know it. Mark my words, you'll all be saying, holy crap, Reese, you were right again. I know. I wouldn't say it. I don't do that hyperbolic stuff. I'm not a shock jock. I just know how this works. To the phones, 860-522-WTIC. Joe's in New Hampshire. How you doing, sir?
Hi, Reverend Reese. How are you?
I'm all right, sir.
Hey, got a few things to run by you. Hypothetically, James Earl Ray lasted a few days on the run. They shot him, quote unquote, trying to get away. Lee Harvey Oswald, 2 days after the assassination, shot, being transferred by the mob guy. And then you see this guy. What do you think? Do you think in the next day or two or three, this guy in custody is going to, quote unquote, commit suicide like Epstein, or he's going to be shot to death trying to get away, quote unquote? What do you think?
It's so interesting because, Rama just said that in the chat room. Let me read what he said. He said, Ralph needs 24-hour surveillance so that he's not Epstein. Meanwhile, Donald Trump needs to plug the leak and hire private security while demanding more Secret Service agents. But everyone the bottom line is you're 100% right, is that this guy was just too calm. If you saw the photo of him sitting in the back of the squad car, it was like nothing ever happened to this guy. We're talking about a guy who was arrested for weapons of mass destruction and a machine gun. And this guy's out running, just flying all over the country.
Yeah, I think I told you this a long time ago. Oswald was an agent for the CIA. Mm-hmm. At the time of his assassination, he was getting about $225, $250 a month from the government. It was like an allowance. And back in 1961, 62, and 63, that was a lot more money than it sounds like. He was on the payroll. And then, of course, he was an agent. He was a double agent, Russia and Cuba.
He was back and forth.
This guy that they have in custody is a double agent with the Ukraine. He's
exactly.
been to Ukraine.
He's got association with Vindman. He's got an association with Vindman, the so-called whistleblower in the Ukraine impeachment hearings. He's got an association with an MSNBC national, I guess some national security guy. I forget the guy's name, but I read an article about him because he was featured in a New York Times article. But I want to say this as well, Joe. An interesting part about that, and that's why I said it in my monologue, it doesn't matter which three-letter agency it is that right now, if you go online, I know you're not much of an online guy, but if you go online, the average citizen, if they're not trying to align this guy with one of those three-letter agencies, they're already suspecting that he is, which again lends to here's the way I put it this way. If the CIA, the FBI, or any one of those agencies are responsible, they're sort of in a bind, because if anything happens beyond this, everyone's going to look directly at them. No one's going to trust this government or any government entities forever. That's over.
Yeah, the thing that really worries me now, Iran, the whole world's watching and analyzing this. Iran, who has Trump on the hit list, they have their agents, thanks to the open border. The agents are in this country. Mm-hmm. They've confiscated at the border, I know through my sources, for the past 2 years. The people that they do catch, they've confiscated dozens of drones. that can be weaponized for future use in our country by terrorists in our country. And I'm afraid that Iran sees how easy it's been for these novices, we'll call them, to get so close to assassinating the president. How lax the security is. I think Iran now will make their move.
There's another part about this as well, Joe, and that's another thing with this guy, Ralph, is the fact that he had so many associations with not just Ukraine or fighting with Ukraine, that he had direct access to people with the know or at least some legitimacy in Ukraine while he was trying to recruit Afghans and was also rooting for Iran, which, again, we now know had a credible threat against the former president. So there are just so many factors that, again, although circumstantial, it lends to this idea, what the hell is going on? What are we not being told?
After the first assassination attempt, I don't know, you probably know this, Trump met with Netanyahu, from Israel. Harris wouldn't give him the respect of attending his address to Congress. That shows, how deep she's in with the Iranians and Palestinians and, this assassination realm. Yeah. But Netanyahu offered Trump private the Mossad to supplement the Secret Service, and I guess Trump declined it
because then you know what that would be,
the Mossad or something to supplement the Secret Service.
I'll tell you why. Let me let you go, but I'll tell you why. First of all, immediately the media is already over that about how Donald Trump is playing one side of the fence, and him taking the Mossad as a security detail would be a PR nightmare for Donald Trump. Is that he's aiding and abetting Benjamin Netanyahu, and that's just a political thing that he couldn't afford to do. But thank you, Joe. Let me get to Patrick in Middletown. How you doing, Patrick?
I'm not doing good, Reese.
Talk to me, buddy.
Well, I haven't heard from you off the air.
Oh, Patrick, that's my fault. I promise you, you know what? I will make sure.
I know it's your fault.
I know it's my fault. I know. I apologize. Patrick, I promise you, I have your number right here. It's literally sitting in front of me, and that's my fault. I've been all over the place this past weekend. I'm looking at your number. I have it. I promise you I will talk to you today.
All right, well, let me just tell you real quick. I don't want to hold up your other callers. I had a very in-depth conversation with HUD Vash, which is your housing people at the VA today, and this landlord here where I'm holing up in the barn, he played me like a fiddle. He lied to me. But guess what? I got 6 weeks of rental receipts, and I get mail here from the VA. Okay, so now I'm a tenant.
Okay, so that's good then.
Tenant right.
I'm sending you a text right now, just to prove to you.
I spent 10 years of my life working in the law, military and civilian, and I know exactly what I'm doing. So my goal is to get out of here and go to Portugal. And I'm going to talk to you about that off the air, because I think there's something we can do to help me drum up some extra funding and catapult me out of here, because I don't want to live in Connecticut. I don't want an apartment here.
It turns out that there are a lot of people just
listen to Frank tell me to keep buying gold. Okay?
There's a lot of people who
enough of that.
There are a lot of people who agree with you, Patrick. Thank you, boss man. Ralph is in South Carolina. How you doing, Ralph?
Reese, couple things. Kamala Harris talked about Trump with the 2025.
Yeah, Project 2025.
Right, provable lie.
Right.
Provable. Talked about Trump with abortion, national abortion ban.
Mm-hmm.
Provable lie.
Indeed.
Everything she said, provable lies. Why do people still, are they going to vote for this woman when she's a provable serial liar? And if you watch her demeanor and listen to her, she is no more qualified to be president of the United States than Mickey Mouse. In fact, maybe Mickey's got one up on it.
Did you see that ABC interview, by the way, Ralph? Did you see the ABC, a local affiliate interview, where the guy asked her about what she's going to do to alleviate people's financial troubles? I'm paraphrasing poorly, but she says, first let me say, I'm a middle-class girl from a middle-class family. I'm like, wait a minute. As soon as I heard it, I went, wait a minute, didn't she start off the debate with that same line? And now people are poking. It turns around. That's the line that she goes to whenever anyone asks her what she's going to do for the struggling middle class in this country. She goes, well, I was born in the middle class. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Well, apparently she was born into a upper middle class family, from what I understand.
Oh, yeah.
And, she's talked about, and she called Joe Biden a racist, by the way, a few times. And that we talked about this before. She talked about the yellow school bus.
Yeah.
And what did she do with that yellow school bus? She put JoJo in the middle of the road and ran him over a few times.
I think, listen, they deserved each other. They deserve one another. The Democrats deserve them. They always people get mad because they say, somebody referred to Kamala Harris as a DEI hire. Look, that woman has been, she's exactly what, if people want a physical, a representation of what DEI looks like, just look at any interview with Kamala Harris over the past 2 years. That's all you need to know. That's all. Other than her skin color, she is vapid.
Right, but the average person, is the average American that stupid? No, we talked about P.T. Barnum and the suckers. Are there that many suckers in this country?
Yes, unfortunately, they are. There are. I mean, I know it. Look, you're of that. Listen, let me say this, Rob, before I let you go.
Sure.
I know, and for a long time, I remember I struggled with this. I wanted to see the best in all people, even when they disagreed with me. I refused to call out the stupid people or the dummies or the mean people or the evil people or the people who had ill intent. I refused because I just didn't believe that was innate in them. And then my ex-wife said to me, and I quote, "You are always expecting yourself in others. You can't. People are who they are. Be they bad, be they good, be they evil, be they, and spiritual, whatever. You have to accept them who they are. When they tell you who they are, believe them. And it may not be the thing that you want for them or you want to believe of them. They just are. You have to accept them for who they are. Accept life on life's terms. I know that it is hard. It's hard to believe that you're any smarter than any of them, right? That's what you would probably say to yourself. I was like, look, I'm no smarter than the average guy. How are these people falling for it? Because they're not smarter than you. They just aren't. We have to accept that.
Well, Reese, we better darn well pray that she doesn't win, because if she wins this election, the Democrats control everything. You can take the country, bend over, kiss your butt goodbye, because everything this country stands for is going to be gone.
I don't think it's going to happen, though. But listen. We should never take anything for granted. But I don't think we're there yet.
Reese, one more question, Reese.
Real quick.
I want everybody to ask, both Republicans and Democrats, what number, national debt, dollar number, will we hit when we're finally broke?
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
I'd like to see what everyone from both sides says, what their answer is, because let me tell you, it's coming.
Yeah, I hear you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Rob in Middletown, stand by. We'll be back in a minute as soon as we do this short break that we always have to do at this time of the hour, and we'll get to you in a second. All right, so stand by. More news, more views. I will preview my interview with Mark Fitch of the Connecticut Inside Investigator when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Hi, I'm Deb. With My Big Y Rewards, I get points when I shop to redeem for discounts on groceries and fuel.
I'm Jan, Deb's sister. With My Big Y Rewards, I get points when I shop to redeem for discounts on
It
groceries
sucks
and
when
fuel.
my biggest problem is whether or not I should keep
It's My Big Y
Disney
Rewards.
Plus.
I'm John Oran, Bucks sports correspondent.
What? I have to thank my lucky star. No, right now, my wife is
Take you
texting me. She goes,
inside
should
the
we
executive
keep
suites and
Disney
owners' boxes
Plus?
that run the entire sports business?
I'm like, that's our biggest problem today.
One of the smartest people I know to break down the hottest.
Gotta keep Disney Plus.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to give it up.
Inside conversations that are happening.
I don't really
throughout
watch
sports
it.
media.
I don't
So
really
be sure
watch
to
it at
follow
all.
and listen to the Varsity Podcast.
That's where all the new Star Wars series come out.
I haven't
Whether
watched
you get
one of
your
them.
podcasts.
I'm a Holy Trilogy
Hey,
guy.
it's Dan and
Well, that's the problem right there.
Yeah.
and of course, this message is about food, but not in the way you're probably thinking.
So you haven't watched The Mandalorian?
80 weight loss.
I'm telling you, I
15 pounds
won't.
down in
I'm
my
a Holy
first 2
Trilogy
weeks
guy.
alone. After years of hosting
just
Fancy
am.
Gourmet on TV,
That's crazy.
Dude, when they killed Han
And my
Solo,
goal
I
was to
was
lose
done.
50 pounds by the
I was
time I turned
done.
50.
I said, they
And
don't
that's
love
coming
us.
up
They don't
pretty
care
quick.
about us anymore.
So just think about it. If I can do it in my line of work,
Gotta be able to move on, man.
No!
because with a Wicked 180, I'm losing
not.
weight while eating. Listen, I know all the best places for bar pies and roast beef sandwiches.
Well, then I guess you don't need it.
Know how to make the right choices when it comes to my health. Learning is how to pick and choose the right foods while losing weight and keeping it off. For the best tips on local restaurants, watch Phantom Gourmet every weekend. For the best weight loss program, check out my weight loss program at awaken180weightloss.com.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the
Good
leading
point,
tax
Craig.
resolution
Good point.
firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've
Yeah, Kevin, we're going to talk
resolved
about the
over
ABC
$1 billion
documents
for
later
their
on in the show,
clients.
roughly about
Optima
5
got me a
o'clock.
settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Paid for.
Hold on a minute.
Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1932 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1932 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1932 dated gold coin featuring Lady Liberty with an Indian war headdress and a majestic eagle. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1932 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 92 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-520-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus. Value free with every order. Call 1-800-520-6468 now to secure your 1932 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Don't wait. You must act fast. Call now.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio. Filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080. Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let's get right into it. Rob's in Middletown. Rob, thank you for holding, sir. How are you today?
I'm great, Reese. How you doing?
I'm all right, sir. What you got?
At what point do we stop calling this a conspiracy theory and call it what it is? It's a common effing sense theory. Wake up. What don't you understand about what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
My God.
Before,
you can't fix stupid. This is getting scary, man. But I'm like you, Reese. I try to look at the good side in things, and they wouldn't be trying to keep taking them out if they had a good grip on the election, would they?
Right. And again, the bottom line is look, everything about what they stand for, what they believe, or how they're benefiting is at risk because the shift, right, that's happening, they cannot control. They've had a lot of control over how this worked in Washington. And part of it is our fault as citizens. When I say that, I always talk about the fact that we became a society that relied more and more of government to solve our daily problems. First, they were big problems they wanted the government to solve. Then it was the simplest of problems to solve, and we relied on government to deal with those things. What we're seeing now is that the American citizens are going, all of that reliance that we put on the government, they've continued to fail us. We put so much power in their hands, they became too powerful, and then they started doing things against our will. And now that's where Donald Trump is representing those people. And that group of people are growing and growing and growing, and it's not just whites. The Tea Party, that was the first sort of stages of it, was the Tea Party. Now the MAGA folks are not only a huge group, but they're from every facet or every walk of life. And the government is now fearful that the people have decided to take over the government and have it be a representative republic like it was always deemed. And that frightens them. And it frightens them so much they figured they're going to get rid of the figurehead, if you were, and think that that's going to stop the movement. It will never end. Hurting Donald Trump will only make that movement stronger.
And everything gets thrown back to the FBI, the great FBI. Look at how many times this organization has dropped the ball. They dropped the ball on 9/11. They let Larry Nassar rape our gymnasts for what, 7 years before they did anything about this? That was Jim Comey. He was the boss.
Mm-hmm.
The same one who sent Martha Stewart to jail when he was the DA in New York. That's the same guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And here we're going to trust them to investigate what happened. So what did you?
Look, not the biggest fan of Ron DeSantis, but I'm glad he's running his own investigation. How much he'll be met with opposition by the FBI, I don't know, but at least he immediately took charge. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate the call, sir. We got to get into our first look at the traffic in the area by going to BPS Traffic Center with our good friend Mark Christopher. How you doing, Mark? Happy Monday.
Reese, same to you. Thank you. Everything's going well. And if you're heading into Hartford right now, you're looking at the southbound side of 91. Some delays there from exit 36 down to 35. Again, 34 down to 32 A and B. In Hartford, quiet. Northbound 91, Cromwell up through downtown up into Winter. Westbound 84, a little tight. East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge up to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you've got delays 44 Prospect Oakwood up to 48 Capitol Avenue. 291, 384 looking good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay. Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound, some slow traffic. Harbor Park up toward the Irrigotti Bridge. If you are heading into Waterbury, westbound 84, some slow traffic from 25 up to exit 22 on the westbound side of 84. 95 South New Haven slowing 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you need the Carter Mario Law Firm, Connecticut's firm for the injured. We are ready to fight for you 24/7. So go to getcarter.com or call us at 877-GET-CARTER.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Monday afternoon, it'll be mostly sunny and warm. A nice start to the week with the high of 82. Partly cloudy, quiet tonight, comfy but mild, the low down to 54. Another gorgeous late summer day on tap for our Tuesday with sunshine. It'll be warm, the high of 83 with a light breeze out of the south-southeast. Then for tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, milder, the low only down to 58. Wednesday, it'll be mostly cloudy, but still warm with the high of 79, a light breeze out of the northeast. Thursday, mostly cloudy, chance of a little rain, but still warm, that high 79 again Thursday. Friday, cloudy, chance of a little rain. It'll be mild, but not as warm, the high of 72. Saturday, sun and some areas of low clouds, otherwise pleasant and less humid with the high of 71. A mix of clouds and sun Sunday, the high of 68. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut. From breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now. WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. President Biden today addressed the apparent assassination attempt Sunday of former President Trump. CBS's Stacey Lynn is that.
In Philadelphia,
I've always condemned political violence. I always will in America.
President Biden condemned what appeared to be an assassination attempt on former President Trump.
In America, we resolve our differences peacefully at the ballot box, not at the end of a gun.
And he praised the U.S. Secret Service.
I commend the Secret Service for the expert handling of the situation. And the former president is protected from harm and the subject is in custody.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
That man accused of attempting to carry out the assassination in court in Florida today.
The only 2 charges that were brought up in court are related to the possession of the firearm. One for being in possession of a firearm as a convicted felon, and the other for obliterating the serial number on that firearm.
That's CBS's Manuel Bojorquez. Ruth, no stranger to a courtroom, says CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd.
We know that this individual has a criminal record. We understand that he has made a series of social media posts calling for support for Ukraine, pledging to fight in the war against Russia and Ukraine, indicating that he had supported Mr. Trump in 2016 but no longer supported him.
Back here, crews were at the scene of a mobile home fire in East Hartford area in the area of Navajo Road and High Street. Police say it appears as if an excavator backed into a propane tank that ignited it and ultimately set the mobile homes afire. East Hartford police say there were no reported injuries, and again, that investigation is ongoing. Vice President Harris met with Teamsters seeking an endorsement. Its president, Sean O'Brien, says the process mirrored their recent visit with former President Trump, as will the voting, which could be finalized by Wednesday, just as soon as all 1.6 million Teamster members weigh in.
The ability of 1.6 million members on the QR code to vote. That polling will be tallied by the end of today. And then we've done some research-based polling that we will be presenting to the General Executive Board, all three of those polling models, on Wednesday. And then we'll deliberate and a decision will be made then.
A proposed bill would set federal guidelines restricting the way sports gambling operations build and lock in their following. Senator Richard Blumenthal says the Safe Bet Act targets the use of incentives in advertising.
That would restrict the kind of bonuses and credits and other enticements. It would forbid ads during certain hours when children would be exposed to them or during sporting events themselves.
Blumenthal says online casinos use algorithms to further engage gamblers who lose. An industry association says regulations already in place are sufficient enough. Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Dow up 228 points, NASDAQ down 91, S&P up 7 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
1 minute.
With Scotchgard Protector. Protect your home and avoid those dark stains on your roof caused by algae. Available now from the Peter L. Brown Company. For a free roofing estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
With Aer Lingus and Bradley International Airport, your vacation possibilities just got more exciting. Fly non-stop from Hartford to Dublin with great fares available now. And since Dublin is our European hub, make your trip 20 times more fun with connections to over 20...
And 10 coming right in.
...including London, Paris and Rome. From epic
got Mark
coastlines
yet?
to city tram lines, you can...
Yeah, I told him to wait, hold on.
to book your flights today.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We are back. It's Reese on the Radio, and we've got Mark Fitch coming up real soon. We're going to talk about the report, the very extensive report he put out on Connecticut Inside Investigator. You can read it yourself if you'd like. Go to insideinvestigator.org to read the lengthy article. It breaks down everything, and we're going to talk to him about some of the highlights of that article because it's so long as well. Also, don't forget we got coming up the stupidest thing I've read all day, and that is actually I'll wait until afterwards, but if you want to go read it, it is there now. It is in regards to the assassination attempt, an article out of the UK Daily Mail, but I'll talk about it a little bit later on. Tomorrow, which is also important, we've got Matt Corey, Republican candidate for Senate, who's going to be on the show tomorrow at 4 o'clock as well. At this time tomorrow, we'll talk to him about his campaign, whether or not he's, let's just say, how well he's doing on the campaign trail, because we got to get Chris Murphy out of here. And I'll talk to him about some of the comments that Murphy's made with regards to immigration, of course, comments about Donald Trump, his view on what we should do with regards to security for the former president and candidates as well. We'll talk about all of that. If you've got any questions for Mark Fitch, you can send them to go to reaseontheradio.com. That's reaseontheradio.com. Put them in now. Otherwise, you can just listen to the interview. I think if we could, Roland, is there a possibility that we could get afterwards, if we could just get the interview with Mark and sort of get that edited so I can put it on the website? Is that possible?
Yeah,
see if we could do, okay. All right. See if we could do that as well for those who want to listen to it, because this is the story's sort of gotten into the weeds and it's got to sort of died off a little bit. Don't see a lot of mainstream media in Connecticut talking about it all that much. And they should be, and as far as I'm concerned, they should be piggybacking Mark Fitch's article, because he's covered stuff that no one's covered, from the current FSB, TNH, none of the stuff he covers in this piece they've covered. And the most important, well, we'll talk about that when that comes up in a minute. And I know Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center definitely wants to hear this interview if he hasn't read the article already. Mark, did you get to read the article by Mark Fitch yet?
What's it concerning?
Okay, so Mark Fitch wrote this very, very huge, I think, long, lengthy article about the Eversource ratepayers and how they've been fleeced for the last 20 years, and far beyond that. But the article breaks down everything from Millstone to how we got to the point where we are now, how much money has actually been spent, who it's been going to. He just breaks all of it down. So I'm sure you'll be interested in the interview coming up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So I just figured, because everyone's outraged about this, but what Mark did is it's a labor. So I want to give him at least as much sort of opportunity to explain it to people who haven't read the article. So stick around
Mark's
for that.
last name again?
Mark Fitch. Mark Fitch. And you can find it at insideinvestigator.org. It's the top story there, by the way.
Investigator.org. All right.
All right.
Check that out.
Okay.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, the ride southbound 91, that looks slow from 34 down to 32 A and B. Northbound 91's okay, Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge of 47. 84 eastbound, you've got delays a half mile before 46th Avenue down to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 through 84 okay. So the river 2 eastbound's moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury, 84 westbound, some delays. 22 up to the Mixmaster. If you're heading down toward New Haven, not too bad. 95 south slowing from 46 down to exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Okay.
For the rest of our Monday afternoon, most
these motherfuckers.
With a high of 82. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, mild but comfy with the low down to 54. Another beautiful late summer day on tap for Tuesday with the high of 83. There'll be a light breeze out of the south-southeast with those sunny skies. Then Wednesday, it'll be mainly cloudy, but still pretty warm with the high.
I'm gonna give him one more chance. The next, and then I'm not going back to him.
89. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
I'm sorry that frustrated. I don't mean to laugh, but I get your frustration. I just didn't
gotta tune in on Tuesday.
Yeah, when it's your cue and I pull you up, you need to be there.
From 30 to 9 o'clock, and of course, it's Tech Tuesday with Eric Semmel from Tab Computers. All your news, weather, and traffic to boot. It's Brian and Company right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
There's a lot that goes into setting up a comprehensive estate plan. Visit preserveyourestate.net for your complimentary worksheet and find out about Nierenstein, Horowitz, and Associates free seminars.
Craig just said, Roland, Craig said, I just pissed myself.
Lose out by not
and Rama says, Roland for the win.
Elder law attorney Haley Allaire. Happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
Hi, I'm Mark, and my family's from Bristol. Allaire Elder Law met my #1 goal when I decided to work with them, to make sure my parents and their assets were protected legally so they can enjoy the rest of their time together and not worry about becoming one of the Title 19 horror stories. And our family cannot thank them enough.
Find out more at AllaireElderLaw.com. That's ALLAIRE.
Hi, this is Carson Daly, inviting you to be part of Odyssey's mental health initiative, I'm Listening. As a dedicated mental health advocate, it is my great honor to again be hosting this awesome 2-hour special, along with Dr. Alfie and Katie Neal, as we engage in this very meaningful conversation. Connect with us right here for I'm Listening.
September 26th at 7 p.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Prescriptions require an online consultation.
1 minute.
Will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start,
And Tenny just gonna come right in because he's been waiting.
I know.
hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Was it waiting since 4?
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, on the line with us right now, and he's been holding for 12 minutes? My apologies to you, sir. Anyway, Unplug, the $7 billion tax in your electric bill, written by Mark Fitch in Connecticut Inside Investigator. Go to insideinvestigator.org. It is the top story on the site. Mark Fitch is with us now. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing pretty well, Reese. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure, man. And this is, I have to admit, the response to your article online, like Facebook was just all over the place. I asked you whether or not people were going to be outraged, and you were like, of course. And when I read it Sunday morning, I have to admit, the part that makes me so angry about this, and we'll get into the details of it, but the part that makes me so angry about this is no one's ever going to cut these government programs that the ratepayers have been paying for more than 20 years. No one's going to read this article, and nobody's going to get into the legislature and go, okay, the jig is up. They know now we've been ripping them off. Let's cut off these programs. That's not going to happen here, right?
No, no, that's not going to happen. So much of this stuff is built into the system. You can't. To stop doing some of this stuff, you'd have to, stop building solar farms and all these different industries that have kind of been built up around the state support of renewable energy. So, much of this is tied to renewable energy, and the state is pushing for that as a future source of energy and electricity specifically, not just Connecticut, but the whole region. So it'd be very difficult to put the brakes on some of this stuff. Some of it is old, some of it will eventually expire, but new things will pop up in their place. So yeah, this is going to be sitting with us probably forever.
Let me ask you this, and then we'll get into the crux of the story. Was there any investigation into, on your own, or even, I didn't see it much in the article, but on your own, on whether or not any of these programs that they're spending taxpayer dollars on, have they been successful? Is anyone to be able to turn to these programs and say these are working out well? Because I didn't get that from your article at all. And in fact, I don't think there have been any reports or any published reports that the things that they're spending this money on have been beneficial to the taxpayer, because of course they only see the increase happening. Their lives haven't become better for it.
Yeah, no, I didn't get into that in this article, and obviously the article is long enough as it is. But I think that is a legitimate question as to can some of this be cut? Is some of this ineffective? Some of the when you start talking about the electric efficiency programs and things like that we're dropping $160 million a year on. Is that really effective? Is it actually saving ratepayers money?
Right.
It'd be a difficult thing to find out, but it doesn't mean we can't do it in a future piece.
So what would you say, what are the most important headlines of your piece that people should concern themselves with, and if they haven't read it, should read it for those reasons?
Well, I think, obviously the top number is, over the last 20 years, you're looking at basically, and I think this is a conservative estimate, about $7 billion has gone from ratepayers into the government and into these government programs. And if it was a tax collecting $7 billion, people might be mad about it, or they would have at least known about it. But for most of the history, this has been hidden in your electric charges. So for one, I think that isn't, a very fair way to, collect, money for government programs. But secondly, when I break it down and say, in a given year, what are we talking about in a given year? And you'd probably fall around like 500 million in a given year. Going into these programs. When you look at the combined public benefits charges, and that, that's the, the hardship costs and payment plans for people who can't afford their bills. That's the Green Bank. That's these energy efficiency programs. And then combine that with the extremely long name, the non-bypassable, federally mandated congestion charges, or whatever they are. And that's all these different contracts we have with different energy producers, credits for solar electricity generation, the Millstone contract, things like that. So when you combine them together, you're probably looking at this point, about $500 million a year. So that's going from the people to government programs to pay for, decisions made at the Capitol. And I think now that the public benefits charge is, outlined in people's bill, they can get mad at the right people for the right reasons. And, it doesn't have to just be, the electric companies taking the beating for it.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part about your article. If you're just joining us, we're on the phone with Mark Fitch of Connecticut Inside Investigator, talking about his article that came out yesterday, Unplug, the $7 billion tax in your electric bill, talking about Eversource, and more importantly, how legislators are responsible for these government programs, which goes to my next question about this. It's clear that we need to find out, whether it was in 2017, whether or not it was in 2004, we need to find out who in legislature supports these programs that ratepayers are paying into without their knowledge. Because as you said, there are plenty of people know that they're paying these things, but they don't know what the money's being paid. They don't know where the money's going. They don't. No one even cares whether or not the ratepayer supports these things that they're paying for behind them. I mean, it's being done behind their back or without their knowledge. Shouldn't there be an accountability for legislators to say, hey, let's take it to the people? Are you okay with this stuff being subsidized without your knowledge?
Yeah, and it'd be difficult to do. There's like 58 different things.
I know.
I hit the big ones, but when you start getting into the federally mandated congestion charge, there's so many different complicated things that go back to the early 2000s and things like that. And the pieces of legislation that I hit upon, the ones where Eversource officials said, hey, these were some big years, these were some big pieces of legislation here that really affected the public benefits charge. A lot of them were passed under emergency certification with, practically unanimous votes. So, it's hard to play politics too much with this.
Right. Well, when I say play politics, I don't care on what side of the aisle it's on. It's that, constituents are getting these charges on their electric bill. And if everyone is really interested in saving ratepayers this tax, they need to respond to, hey, look where this money is going. Can we, in essence, dissolve this agency because it's not helping the ratepayers? It's not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, that question could be asked. And I think, one of the things we get back into like kind of the big points of the article and what people should take away from it. I think when you get to the lower half of the article, when we start talking about the biggest public policy is where we get our energy from.
Right.
And that has changed dramatically over the past 10 years. As I mentioned in the piece, during the Malloy administration, there was a big push for natural gas. We wanted to bring in more natural gas. We wanted everybody using natural gas.
Yes.
And in a very short, 10 years, now it's no natural gas. We don't want any more of that. We want wind farms, and we want solar, and we want these, these green energy projects. And it's very difficult, and it takes a lot of money to start, altering the energy infrastructure of a region.
Right. They wanted to do it at the turn of a They wanted to do it at the turn of a dime. There was no progression. This was something that had to happen right now. And as you describe, I think that's within the Lamont administration, like from Malloy to immediately to the Lamont administration. This was the sort of I guess the 180 that they made on clean energy to renewable.
Yeah, and it's these things. It's lawmakers responding to pressure from environmental agencies or in environmental groups, and a big top-down federal government push for renewable energy and wind farms and solar, and these deals that we're striking with the state pier and these offshore wind farms and things like that. There's this big push, and people are making money off of it. Don't be fooled.
Oh yeah.
But anytime the government's doing anything, it's with your money, whether or not it's coming directly out of the budget or being borrowed or coming from your out of these charges on your electric bill. You're paying for it. So when you start trying to shift an entire infrastructure, energy infrastructure, and do it quickly in response to what they say is a climate crisis, it's going to take a lot of money, and it's going to take a lot of effort. So what people really have to decide when they're looking at these public benefits charges, because so much of it goes to renewables, is that what they want? Is that the future that you want? And if it is, then fine, but you do have to pay for it.
The interesting part that I had in my conversation with Senator Bob Duff was that some of the things that I discussed with him about getting rid of, and he looked at it as, well, you're only talking about reducing a ratepayer's bill $5. But when I look at it on the macro, that $5 payment by a ratepayer, as you describe in some of your reporting, is some of that money that they're getting, in a year. That $5, that small little sum that he was poo-pooing about, the money that they're garnering is some $26 million.
Oh, sure. If you're talking, and I assume you're talking about the Green Bank there,
yeah,
because that's this agency that has this dedicated fund, going right. And what's kind of interesting with that is you're essentially paying like 3 times when it comes to that particular agency, because Connecticut is part of the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, which sells, it auctions off carbon credits for electric producers. And that's so far down the line that you can't really calculate it, but it does, raise the costs. And then you have the charge that comes out of your electric bill that goes directly to the Green Bank. And then the Green Bank, subsidizes solar development, and that gets factored into the non-bypassable federally mandated congestion charge, which is part of the public benefits. So, the electric company has to buy that solar power and, award these carbon credits to the producer. And so you end up paying, essentially kind of 2 or 3 times for the same agency.
And exactly, for the same agency, but it's not even an agency that is, this agency, the Green Bank in particular, and I've got huge problems with them, but the Green Bank is not something that that anyone can use unless they choose to, so to speak, right? It's not actually benefiting ratepayers because the Green Bank's not out there as this, it's not an organization that is out there helping every individual who's paying into it. It's helping people who wish to buy any one of those products through Green Bank or subsidize them through Green Bank. I guess the terminology I'm doing it poorly, but it's in essence, if somebody wants to buy solar panels or to become more green efficient, they go through the Green Bank to have that financed through them. But that's only if you're trying to build a project or you're trying to, get solar panels on your home. It's in that sense, you have to do it by choice, but they still are guaranteed 25, 26, sometimes $27 million a year, whether or not you're benefiting from it or not.
Yeah, and if you're not putting solar on your roof or whatever, then it's not really much of a benefit to you, other than the fact, you can make the argument that it secures more carbon-free electricity, which I'm sure is their argument. And the big push to lower emissions in Connecticut, doing it through electricity generation, solar adds into that. So like I said, it comes down to whether or not people want to be upset about this. It comes down to your values as to what you think is the right direction for the country. I mean, do you want to stick with natural gas and bring in more of that? I mean, you could build a whole other nuclear plant. I mean, it might take you 20 years or whatever, but you could do that. And then, 80% of the region's electricity will come from 2 nuclear plants.
Yeah, I don't think that
there's a lot of different things you can do, but at this point, what Connecticut is choosing to do is go with wind and solar, and it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit on the other side. The Millhouse part of this piece, I want to talk about that a little bit because that has been sort of like some people's I guess they're using it as a wedge on a lot of this debate. I want to talk a little bit about that on the other side. All right, do you mind sticking around?
Absolutely.
All right, we've got Mark Fitch of ConnecticutInsideInvestigator.org. Please go read his article right now so you can be up to snuff because no one else is reporting on this, and we appreciate having him. For now, let's get into the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. And if you're making your way into Hartford right now, this traffic report is being brought to you by New Balance. And if you're traveling on the southbound side of 91, look for some slow traffic in Windsor coming down between 36 and 35. Again, you'll see some slow traffic 33 down to 32 A and B. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound side of 84 slowing in East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 48 Asylum. 84 eastbound delays approaching 46 Sisson Avenue up to 48 Capitol Avenue. 291 through 84 okay east of the river. 9 northbound just a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. If you are traveling on the northbound side of the Parkway right now, looks like we have an accident between exit 66 and 67, so slow traffic there on the northbound side of the Parkway. If you're heading into Waterbury, westbound 84 slows 23 to 22. 84 eastbound a little tight 8 to 9 as you move Danbury into Newtown. South 95 New Haven slowing 46 to 44. I'm Mark Christopher. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sponsored by New Balance, South Windsor and Avon. Come see all the new styles and classic New Balance sneakers today.
Hi, this is Michael DeCibio from New Balance South Windsor and Avon. Stop in and find out what level of support your foot type is compatible with. One of our fit specialists will analyze your feet and put you in the proper sneakers today. New Balance at Evergreen Walk in South Windsor and the Avon Marketplace on Route 44 in Avon.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Monday afternoon, mostly sunny and pleasant, the high of 82. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, mild but comfy with the low down to 54. Another beautiful late summer day on tap for Tuesday with the high of 83. There'll be a light breeze out of the south-southeast with those sunny skies. Then Wednesday, it'll be mainly cloudy, but still pretty warm with the high of 79. Thursday, mostly cloudy with chance of a little rain, the high back to 79. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC News Update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Authorities are providing additional details on the apparent assassination attempt Sunday of former President Trump at his Florida golf club. FBI Special Agent in Charge Jeffrey Veltri says witnesses were key in providing information on Ryan Ruth that led to his arrest. A Secret Service agent spotted the suspect, engaged Ruth, and fired. Ruth did not fire any shots, they say. He was in court today facing 2 firearms charges, and authorities say he had camped out in nearby woods for up as long as 12 hours laying in wait for Trump before he was spotted by that Secret Service agent. The former president blamed rhetoric from President Biden and Vice President Harris, saying it's their words that are leading to his being shot at. Several mobile homes in East Hartford damaged by fire today. Police say an excavator hit a propane tank that sparked the blaze on Navajo Road. No injuries were reported. Michelle Draconis' contempt case in Stamford's been continued to November. The 49-year-old accused of having information on a Dulis psychological report on her courtroom computer during that trial earlier this year. And that is why she is facing the contempt charge. Of course, she was already convicted of murder conspiracy in the presumed death of Jennifer Farber-Dulos. Man accused of stalking and harassing a UConn student athlete was in court today. Robert Parmalee of Washington charged protective order has been granted, and his bond has been set at $100,000. Wall Street, the Dow finished up 228 points today. NASDAQ down 91. S&P was up 7 points. Red Sox, Yankees off tonight. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm Jennifer Osborne, General Manager at Saxon Engineering. We work with the government, and so we have to have a lot of things in place.
That's why Faxon is seeking NIST compliance, now a key to landing and keeping government contracts. Tab Computer Systems is helping them do that.
This is like on a whole nother level, and they make it easy to do. They have been right on the forefront of making sure they have products for us to meet all the requirements for our NIST compliance.
When Jennifer has questions about NIST, Tab has answers.
Every time I have a question about something, I have a specific contact, and he's wonderful at getting back to me and saying, okay, here's what I found out. Jen, this is how we're going to tackle this issue.
Ready for your company to become NIST compliant? Get there with Tab's expertise and training. Call 1-888-TAB-4-HELP, 1-888-TAB, the numeral 4, HELP, or at tabinc.com. Technology's advancing business. Tab Computer Systems.
California Psychics is the real deal. They helped me out, totally changed my attitude, totally got me psyched to start my business and take a new path in my life.
At California Psychics, customers like Jeremy trust us to connect them with only the best. In fact, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to us. So we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free.
I feel like she really kind of made a connection with me. She knew something about my personality, knew a little bit about me. Now I'm really confident about getting out there and just getting it done.
Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. That's a real deal you don't. So join Jeremy and experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Get insights on the go. Download the California Psychics app today.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, let's get right back into it. On the phone with us is none other than Mark Fitch of Connecticut Inside Investigator. Go to insideinvestigator.org in order to read his article, Unplug the $7 billion Tax in Your Electric Bill. So the millstone thing, Mark, that I was having so much trouble understanding because, of course, it happened in 2017. But what I couldn't understand was the millstone deal, it wasn't partisan. This was something that was actually saving ratepayers according to your article, $300 million. And
well,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, it saved ratepayers money when the war in Ukraine caused the price of natural gas to skyrocket. So basically, what happened in 2017 was, it started with, Governor Dan Malloy issuing an executive order, and it was followed up in a special session, an emergency bill filed. And it was supported mostly by Republicans, but it was bipartisan. They had Democrats support as well. But most people against it were Democrats. So there's been a lot of finger pointing about the Millstone Agreement.
Right.
But during normal times, so, if natural gas goes up really high, it saves people money. But during normal times, natural gas is very cheap. We have a ton of it in this country. During normal times, it actually raises your rates a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's because we have what's called a power purchase agreement with Millstone, and that basically says we're going to buy this amount of energy from you at this set rate for 10 years.
Right.
And if that rate's higher than natural gas, that means that, 37% of your energy coming from Millstone is going to be a little more expensive.
Right. And that was the agreement. But at the time of the agreement, it was necessary, according to, everyone who was involved. Right? Sure, there were Democrats who were against it, but if you get a bipartisan bill like that and an executive order by Malloy, maybe the finger pointing is unnecessary. And I think it's being used as a wedge in order to say, see, we told you should have never done it.
Well, one thing to point out, and this is something that I just hadn't seen mentioned anywhere, is that the legislation that was signed gave the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection and PURA, the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, the ability to contract with Millstone. It didn't say they had to. It said they were going to assess the situation and determine whether or not a power purchase agreement with Millstone was necessary. They did that, and they determined it was necessary, and that contract was actually signed in 2019. It was under Katie Dykes, the current Department of Energy and Environmental Protection Commissioner, appointed by Lamont.
Lamont, yeah.
Yeah, and so ultimately it was a bureaucratic decision. The legislation gave the bureaucrats the ability to do that. I mean, it was probably a fait accompli, when they passed the legislation, but it was ultimately a bureaucratic decision, and they seemed to think it was a good idea. I mean, I went directly to Commissioner Dykes' testimony saying, like, hey, we looked at this. We said it was in the best interest, not only of the state, so we can preserve jobs. We have this carbon-free energy, and we're getting all this energy at this set rate.
So stay right there, Mark, because that's an important part that I want to get into. Because you just said that, look, it hasn't been reported on. I want to get your opinion on the other side of the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher to find out why you think that might be happening. I'm sorry, Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. And if you are heading toward Hartford right now, and you're on the southbound side of 91, you got delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Northbound 91, easy ride. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Boca Bridge to 47. 84 eastbound tight 46 to 48 Capitol Avenue. 291 through 84, that moves well east of the river. 2 eastbound, you got some slow traffic in East Hartford as you move by exit 5C to 5D. Middletown 9 northbound, delays approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. If you are traveling on the, let's see here, that would be the, why doesn't this want to show me right here? It doesn't want to show me, but anyways, looks like we have a crash on the southbound side of the Parkway between Miller Avenue and exit 66 on the Meriden-Wallingford line. So delays southbound, also delays northbound, rubbernecking from 66 up to the accident site, which once again up near Miller Avenue on 15 northbound. Also an accident reported now southbound Parkway between 60 and 59 as you move into New Haven. Southbound 95 New Haven tight 46. Down to exit 44. Heading toward Waterbury, 84 westbound a little tight, 25A to 25. 84 westbound again a little slow by 22 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound just a little tight, 8 to 9 in Newtown, and again 10 to 11 in Newtown. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC.
All right, it's been a beautiful day heading through the evening and overnight.
He's about to get canceled.
54 overnight, a sunny and gorgeous day for Tuesday, the high of 83. Wednesday, mainly cloudy, still warm though, the high 79. Very similar Thursday, mostly cloudy, the high right back to 79. Friday, chance of a little rain under cloudy skies, the high 72. Saturday, sun with some low clouds around, but a pleasant and less humid day, the high of 71. Right now, Meriden 81, Waterbury at 77. Hartford's at 81. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Plumbing got you bumming? If you're backed up, call for backup.
TMS does it best.
Water heaters, leaks, toilets, and sinks.
TMS does it best.
Water treatment installations and repairs. Get 24/7 service and 0% financing. Enjoy total comfort by TMS, where trust meets service.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Paul Morency came to WTIC in December of 1929. Originally from Illinois, he served in the Army's famous 42nd Rainbow Division during World War II. After the war, he graduated from the University of Chicago, then joined the staff of the Chicago Evening American. While at the paper, he developed a series of educational broadcasts for a local radio station and soon became a representative of the National Association of Broadcasters. In this role, he traveled the country promoting the benefits of the NAB to radio professionals. A chronic war wound kept him from participating in the sports he loved, so he became addicted to radio. He frequently had trouble sleeping and said he often spent...
Great. That's it. To quote a great man. I love it.
Morency became the WTIC's first president. His professionalism, intense drive, and rigorous standards proved to be an invaluable asset to the station.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad.
Hold on a minute.
All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only with... Tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
It is your girl, Cammie. And I want you to know that when I listen to the radio, okay, I listen to Reese on the radio.
We're back. On the phone with us again, and I wanted to keep him. I told him when I texted him last week, I said I want to keep you on for a little while. Mark Fitch, his Connecticut Inside Investigator, his piece, Unplugged, the $7 billion tax in your electric bill, written on Sunday morning. Mark, I got to ask you, you said that no one reported on that part about Pura and Deep that was pretty much responsible for whether or not they would honor the agreement with Millstone. And you said they're not reporting on. What do you think is the reason why a lot of people aren't, if you could guess, as a journalist, what do you think is the reason why they're not focusing on that? Is it because they can sort of, not put the blame where it's necessary? Or you think they were playing a partisan role in this? Or did they not, maybe they just weren't investigating that?
I think maybe, 2017 was a while ago. I mean, I remember when this Millstone deal happened, but it was kind of in the back of my mind. And, Republicans did push it, but it was, like I said, it was bipartisan.
Yeah.
No, I'm not really sure. I mean, I was actually kind of interested when I came across that information. I was like, oh, so this wasn't like a set done deal. This was just giving these agencies the ability to do this. And,
right.
They probably knew that these agencies would go forward with it. So like I said, it might have been something that was like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but, still that is how it happened.
Right.
And I think, you'd mentioned, some of the finger pointing and stuff and like why some of this hasn't been brought up or why, people are talking about the Millstone agreement, because the other half of this benefits boost was for the COVID era shutoff moratorium.
Right.
That, Lamont and Pura extended for multiple years, longer than other states.
Yeah. No end in sight. In fact, many people believed.
Yeah. So, and I think it was a way of kind of deflecting some of the blame there and saying, well, this, most of this is for this Millstone agreement that happened in 2017 that you guys wanted.
Right.
I think all of this criticism is misplaced, especially around the Millstone deal. Yes, it does cost more money, but when Democrats are pointing the finger at Republicans about that, at the same time, you have to recognize that when we start getting wind power, when we get that offshore wind, those are going to be power purchase agreements that are much, much higher than Millstone. I even, I looked at Eversource's, annual report, and they were projecting, a power purchase agreement of, $98 to $99 per kilowatt hour.
What? That's insanity.
The Millstone agreement's $49 per kilowatt hour. So, during, when during the huge spike in the price of natural gas, you had a lot of people coming out saying, well, this is why we need wind power to protect against these wild fluctuations.
Yeah.
Yes, a power purchase agreement does protect against wild fluctuations, but if that power purchase agreement is really high,
you're stuck with it.
You're stuck with it, and it just raises the price overall. So
Right.
it's like, you might pay more during these wild swings, but in general, natural gas is always going to be cheaper. So you start getting into the wind power contracts that are really high.
Yeah, so this is pretty much like, this goes back, and I know you're old enough to remember, this goes back to like 2009, 2010, when Barack Obama notably said that, of course, his green energy campaign would definitely raise energy rates for average citizens. They're getting what they told us was going to happen 16 years ago.
Yeah, and like I said, to do these things costs money, and it's not if you want to go in a particular direction, it's not going to be cheap. I mean, the government subsidizes a lot of this stuff already. That means your money's subsidizing it,
right?
And it's still expensive. So it's just a matter of people want things, and they want things now, and like everybody wants clean energy now. Well, you can get there quicker, but it is going to cost you a lot of money to do it.
Let me ask you this, if there has been any, and I always wonder this when you have a report like this and how important this is to the residents of the Nutmeg State. Has there been a response from anyone about your reporting so far? Like, have you any contacts, other people asking you questions about this? Has it been quiet? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people went to the site after we promoted it here for so long. But has there been anything from your colleagues in the news business about your reporting so far? Is that, or has it been pretty much dead silent?
Well, I mean, not to my knowledge, but to be fair, this is actually my last day of vacation before I start work tomorrow.
Okay.
So,
okay. So they can't reach you if
I've been on vacation I've been on vacation last week, so
Okay.
I haven't, and I'm one of those guys. I don't read the comments, so
okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I appreciate that. No, when I say the comments, I mean, like, there are other colleagues in news like this. I found this odd that an article like this wouldn't be picked up by, one, the wire services, or two, even some of the people, in our news meter, FSB, TNH. It's one of those people would find this article because there's a lot of this that isn't being reported, because this is $7 billion is a hell of a number that no one knows they've been paying to things that they clearly don't know that the money's going towards. And I'm just interested in whether or not any one of the people who are supposed to be reporting these news, or at least doing the job that you're doing, or at least interested in your reporting, and I find it odd that they haven't. But you know what? Anything could change in 24 hours, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, like any news outlet is going to want to independently verify those numbers.
Right.
So, and that might take them a couple of days if they choose to do so. So
how long did you? How long did it take you to do this article? How long did it take you to research all of this?
Oh, this was. I mean, we usually give ourselves about like 5 weeks. And,
wow.
This was. Yeah. I mean, this was. I went through a lot of Pura docket stuff. It really makes your eyes kind of cross. You download a lot of Excel spreadsheets, and I ran out of RAM on my computer at one point. So
really?
It was it was a lot, but it's just a matter of trying to cut through a lot of the noise and just focus on, like, all right, what really matters here, and what are we trying to find out.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it is a great job you did here on this article. I sat in my office and read through every part of it, just saying to myself, he must have, like, as you just said, like, you must have gone blind going through all of this stuff. And it's nice to know that you had, because it was like, this is a lot to what when I first opened it up, I said, I wonder how short this, holy crap, it goes on forever. But you did the work. Yeah. So, and it's important that people do. One person on Facebook said, as she was warning other people who opened up the article, she said, it's a long read, but it is a great article. So kudos to you, because the response, although people were angry about it, as you and I predicted, they are thankful for the information. So
good. I mean, that's really what we wanted to do.
Yeah, kudos to you for doing that, man, and continue to do the great work. Are you still selling books? Because you're an author as well, right?
Oh, I'm always selling books.
Oh.
Please go buy my books.
Well, tell everyone where they can read some of your work. And is it nonfiction, fiction, true to life? What's the genre you're in?
Oh, I write horror fiction.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yes.
Well,
So
I guess
people can go pick up my latest novel, Dead Ends. You can get it Amazon, Barnes and Noble. I'm going to be doing events around the state, throughout September and October. So, yeah. And you know what? If you hate the book, you can burn it and use it to heat your home. So buy a lot of copies.
Oh, you stole that joke from me. I love that one. Mark, thank you so much. I totally appreciate it. And you're absolutely right. You said you do horror fiction. Well, I'm not going to lie. This article you wrote is horror nonfiction for certain, because these numbers, I'm telling you, these numbers frighten the hell out of me.
Make that comment. Yeah.
Yeah, these numbers are staggering. It's staggering. Something needs to be done. I hope this doesn't, I hope it's, it's not wasted. The amount of effort that you put on this, and somebody reads it and says, we need to do something for ratepayers, as well as just change what's happening in legislation, to make sure that people are paying. Because from what you're saying, if we start signing these agreements, we're going to see that number go up, not go down, if that's the case.
Yeah, depending on what kind of rate you get, and these producers, these people building these wind farms, that's how they recoup their costs through the power purchase agreement.
Yeah,
so,
and if we're spending $45 today, and you're talking about $99 for the wind farm production, that's more than half. People can forget about seeing $50 and $60 in that rate hike. They're probably going to see close to $150, but beyond a shadow of a doubt.
I don't know. That too much math for me on that one.
No problem. Thank you very much. Mark Fitch, please go read his article. I know it's lengthy, but it's worth the read. Do it on your lunch break or any other time. It's called Unplug the $7 billion Tax in Your Electric Bill. Go to Connecticut Inside Investigator. It's insideinvestigator.org. Mark, thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate you spending this hour with us.
Thank you, Reese. It was fun.
Thank you, man. So if you've got comments on this, please send them to reasoontheradio.com. That's reasoontheradio.com, or go to insideinvestigator.org so you can actually, because I like I said, I didn't even know that this publication was there, but when I found it, I was happy I did, because it looked like somebody's really doing the work, and Mark Fitch is. When we come back, I've got to talk about the ABC News affidavit. If you haven't heard about it, I will read it to you. It turns out that a 10-year employee that works for ABC News signed an affidavit on September 9th, a day before the ABC debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. And what this employee reveals is tantamount election interference by ABC News, if indeed it is true. I will read that to you. If you've missed it, and I know a lot of people don't go online, but they come here to WTIC, we will read it to you. We will give you all of the details and what happened, or what that individual is saying that ABC News did in coordination with the Harris campaign. At that as well. Don't forget, also go to reasoonradio.com for the stupidest thing I've read today. Today's article was from the UK Daily Mail, but I actually posted another article that is on here, and it is astonishing. The son of the would-be assassin, I should say. Gosh, English hard. The would-be assassin said that any reasonable person hates Trump, he says in the article, when he was confronted by the UK Daily Mail about his dad being under arrest for attempting to assassinate Donald Trump. So you can read the article there. Go to reasoontheradio.com, and you can see all of the past articles for the stupidest thing I've read today. So we've got that, and the 5 o'clock focus is going to be on the ABC News. And if you want to chime in on the conversation that I had with Mark Fitch, you can do that as well, calling 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-WTIC. 5 o'clock focus coming up. Should ABC News be charged with election interference? anyone that was in there. And hopefully we should get an interview in the next coming days with that with the person who signed that affidavit. His name is being hidden right now, but of course because of there's going to be retribution because of it. By the way, do I have time for this? Let me see if I have the time for this. We'll also explain this by ABC News. Listen closely. Martha Raddatz, by the way.
I want to go through a few things that Kamala Harris said. She said during the debate this about the U.S. military. Let's listen.
As of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century.
Our fact checkers found that to be false, and I have a lot of experience in that area as well. There are currently 900 U.S. military personnel in Syria, 2,500 U.S. troops in Iraq. All have been under regular threat from drones and missiles for months.
Why is Martha Raddatz and ABC News deciding to fact-check Kamala Harris today? The same reason, because of the whistleblower at ABC News. We'll talk about that and so much more in the 5 o'clock focus. For now, let's get back into the BPS Traffic Center with our good friend Mark Christopher. How we doing, Mark?
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to you and good afternoon, everyone. And this traffic report is being brought to you by Whittlesey. And if you're heading into downtown Hartford, you're on the southbound side of I-91. You're going to see some slow traffic now as you move down between exit 33 and 32 A and B. South of downtown, a little slow down by exit 28. Northbound 91, easy ride, Cromwell through downtown up into the Windsor exits. Now, if you're on the westbound side of 84, look for delays as you approach the Bulkley Bridge in East Hartford up to 47 Sigourney Street. Eastbound 84, just the tap of the brakes as you move by exit 48 Capitol Avenue. Route 2 eastbound, you got some slow traffic now coming off of I-84 out to exit 5C in East Hartford. An accident reported there. 9 northbound slowing approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. If you're traveling southbound on the Parkway, look out for an accident by Miller Avenue. Northbound Parkway, you've got delays 66 in Wallingford up to the accident scene, rubbernecking at that southbound crash. If you're heading into Waterbury, 84 eastbound, a little slow by the Mixmaster. Westbound 84, a little tight, 26 to 25A, and again, 22 up to the Mixmaster. Heading into Newtown, you've got delays 84 eastbound from 9 up to exit 11. South 95 New Haven is slowing 46 to 44, and a little tight traffic now as you move southbound in the Parkway from 61 to 60 in Hamden. Whittlesey wants your business to succeed. Whittlesey is more than an accounting firm. They're advocates for your business, delivering a robust set of solutions, including audit, tax, technology, cybersecurity, and advisory services. Learn more at wadvising.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC.
For the rest of our Monday afternoon, mostly sunny and warm, the high of 82, partly cloudy, mild but pleasant tonight with the low down to 54. Then for our Tuesday, another gorgeous late summer day, lots of sunshine, a light breeze out of the south-southeast, the high up to 83. Now it'll be mainly cloudy on Wednesday, but still warm, the high of 79. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a chance of a little rain, the high back to 79. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's 5 o'clock. Hartford temperature 79 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Authorities held a briefing this afternoon on the attempted assassination Sunday on former President Donald Trump.
The Secret Service says the suspect, Ryan Wesley Routh, did not have a line of sight on Trump and never fired his weapon. Acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe.
I've had a conversation with the former president. We've explained and we've worked with the campaign. The president is aware that he has highest levels of protection that the Secret Service is providing him.
Regarding how the suspect knew where Trump would be,
I don't have any information on that.
FBI Special Agent in Charge Jeffrey Veltri says the investigation is just beginning and there's no information yet about any possible accomplices.
We're in the process of collecting a lot of evidence, and that will be part of that investigation to determine his whereabouts going back quite some time.
Routh has been charged with federal gun crimes. Additional and more serious charges are expected when they go before a grand jury.
CBS News correspondent Michael Toscano. At an event in Hartford today, Senator Richard Blumenthal condemned political violence and says an investigation into this latest incident will dovetail a report on the July 13th assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Political violence is unacceptable. It has no place in America. And I think that this incident will be part of a continuing review. I'm chairman of the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, which has an ongoing inquiry. We expect to issue a report very soon.
Fire earlier today at a mobile home park in East Hartford. The fire chief in town, Kevin Munson, says the blaze appeared to start with a propane tank that was breached by an excavator.
So it's an underground propane tank that feeds 6 trailers. So you're able to isolate to those units, and then we just have to let the tank burn off because of the way it was damaged, we can't shut it off.
No injuries were reported, although several mobile homes sustained significant damage. Audio there from WFSB. Prospects for peace in Gaza seem to be dimming by the hour following the latest statement from the leader of Hamas.
He said that Hamas will continue the fight and that he feels that Hamas is winning this conflict and basically that Hamas has no intention of going to a ceasefire. And it seems that the Israeli prime minister also has no intention of going to a ceasefire.
CBS's Linda Gradstein. A federal bill would target incessant advertising and use of algorithms by online casinos to hook sports gamblers. Valerie Tibbetts runs the helpline at the Connecticut Council on Problem Gambling. She says many potential bettors fall for casinos offering incentives to gamble.
When somebody says, if you give me $5, and by the way, all your pertinent demographic information, your email, your social security number, and everything else about you, I'll give you $100 in free bets. It's very, very predatory, in my opinion.
Safe Bet Act would ban sports books from advertising during live events. It would also prohibit the use of AI to track players' gambling habits. An industry association says state regulations already in place are sufficient enough. Investors on Wall Street believe that an upcoming decision by the Fed could mean better financial days ahead. Business reporter Jason Brooks with the recap on Wall Street today.
Investors are anticipating that the Fed will cut interest rates this week, more than a year after ending its rate hiking cycle, with the main question being whether Fed members will go for a bigger half percentage point cut, which is being supported by current Wall Street odds. And that boosted the Dow to a record high on a gain of 228 points to 41,622. The Nasdaq pulled back by 91 points to 17,592, and the S&P neared an all-time high on a gain of 7 points to 5633. Jason Brooks, CBS News.
And for these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, it's Dan Andel, Phantom Gourmet. And of course, this message is about food, but not in the way you're probably thinking. You see, I recently started Awaken 180 weight loss, and the results? 15 pounds down in my first 2 weeks alone. After years of hosting Phantom Gourmet on TV, it was time for a 180 in my life. And my goal is to lose 50 pounds by the time I turn 50. And that's coming up pretty quick. So just think about it. If I can do it in my line of work, anybody can do it. Because with Awaken 180, I'm losing weight while eating. Listen, I know all the best places for bar pies and roast beef sandwiches, but I didn't always know how to make the right choices when it comes to my health. What I'm now learning is how to pick and choose the right foods while losing weight and keeping it off. For the best tips on local restaurants, watch Phantom Gourmet every weekend. Here we go. This weight loss program, check out my weight loss program at awaken180weightloss.com.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. Yeah, man. We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. The 5 o'clock focus today, folks. ABC News. And I just read Mediaite is immediately called, oh, it's bogus. Let me read their headline first. Ted Cruz, Bill Ackman, Elon Musk pushed typo-riddled ABC whistleblower document claiming debate moderators sabotage Trump. We don't need Mediaite to tell us that it was a hoax, that they sabotaged Donald Trump. We know that one of the moderators has already admitted that they stacked the deck. It's not a hoax. We know they stacked the deck. We're well aware of it. And just because it's typo-riddled, don't we have a typo-riddled letter by the President of the United States that everyone was circulating on Twitter when he dropped out of the race? Remember that? Remember how many typos were in that? People were saying it was a bogus letter. No, it can't be right. That can't be real. Joe Biden, there's so many typos in it, remember? Now all of a sudden there's a problem with typos? Did Joe Biden end up leaving? Yes, he did. That's exactly what happened. Okay, so please don't bore me with that. We're still going to read it. We'll read the whole thing. And we'll see whether or not this whistleblower comes forward. And then we'll see whether or not they'll start, dropping deleting the articles in Mediaite after the fact. Let's get another check of the traffic with our good friend Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. No typos in his report, by the way.
I just printed out that article, so I'm going to read that through.
Oh, it's long, man, but it's so many details. I'm telling you, the whole thing that bothers me is the amount of money going to programs that people would look at it and just go, what the heck is this?
Right.
It's insane.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. And I say this all the time. I don't know if this applies here, but a lot of these laws get passed at the last minute.
Yep.
A lot of these people that vote on these, a lot of these legislature members that vote on these bills don't even see them. It's thrown in at the last minute, and they're told whether to vote up or down on it. And these are some of the consequences from that.
But I got to say this, Mark. The part that bothers me the most is that now that this stuff is exposed, it's not like they can't go back and get rid of this stuff. The bureaucracy doesn't have to stand. Just get rid of these programs so we can say, we want to save people money. It doesn't matter whether or not it's $5 or $20. Get rid of these boondoggles.
I know, you would think, but I don't know. Maybe somebody's promised somebody something.
Yep.
And I don't know. Who knows what kind of forces that are working here under behind closed doors.
Indeed.
If you're heading into Hartford right now, Reese, southbound 91 delays, 33 down to 32 A and B. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge into the tunnel. 84 eastbound's quiet now. Farmington out into Vernon, 291, 384 okay east of the river. 2 eastbound is running a little slow off of I-84 out to exit 5A. It looks like that earlier accident between 5C and 5D is clear. 291, 384 okay east of the river. 9 northbound Middletown slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. If you are traveling on the northbound side of the Parkway, look for slow traffic between exit 66 and Miller Avenue. An accident reported there on the Wallingford-Meriden line. If you're heading toward Waterbury right now, not a bad ride, just a little slow, 84 westbound, 23 to 22. And if you're traveling 84 eastbound in a Newtown, you've got some slow traffic between 9 and 11. 95 South New Haven slows 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. Got a great night ahead of us under partly cloudy skies. It'll be mild but comfortable with the low down to 56. Then a gorgeous late summer day Tuesday, sunshine, the high of 83, a light breeze out of the south-southeast. Wednesday, it becomes mainly cloudy but still warm, the high 79. Then Thursday, mostly cloudy, just a hint cooler with the high 76. Friday, cloudy, chance of a little rain, the high 72. Then on Saturday, sun with some areas of low clouds, but a pleasant day, the high of 71. Right now, New London at 66 with that sea breeze. Mansfield at 77. It's 79 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Now, your ideas don't have to wait. Dell Technologies and Intel are pushing what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to now.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts about the latest medical news and call in with your questions. Healthy Rounds, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com. Vacation is over, school is back in session, and WTIC News Talk 1080 is part of your daily routine with news, weather, and traffic updates, plus local talk shows to keep you informed and entertained. It's back to the grind, but we'll help you get through it. WTIC News Talk 1080 on your radio, your smart speaker, and the free Odyssey app.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
right.
Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man.
And we're back. Reese on the radio, 5 o'clock focus. Let's get into this because there's a lot of stuff to unpack, so we'll get into it. According to the affidavit written on September 9th, 2024, says, my name is blank blank. I live in New York. I've worked for ABC News for 10 years in various technical and administrative positions. Since the acquisition of ABC News in 1996, I've observed significant transformations in the nature of news reporting and the organization. At the organization, these changes suggest a shift from unbiased reporting to a model influenced by external factors. For the record, I do not endorse Donald Trump in his capacity as candidate for president of the United States. The intent of this affidavit is to address concerns regarding perceived biases within news reporting within my employer's debate that will be hosted on September 10th, 2024. They go on. Let's get to page 2 because unfortunately these are all in various orders when you download them. Okay, page number 2. Observations on debate communication. Since the debate of President Trump and Vice President Harris had been announced to be broadcast on ABC, various members of staff had expressed hope of debate where issues that were important to everyday Americans would be discussed, and there had been promises made that the candidates would be held to firm discussions regarding their proposed policy stances and that the debate would not deteriorate into an ad campaign, whereas both candidates would simply make blanket statements without specific policy or explanation. Political position clarification. Many employees of ABC News who were looking for a fair and honest debate questioned the clear bias that is well known throughout the company. It is common knowledge that debate moderators, as well as chief executive officers at my employer, as well, are well known, not to support Donald Trump. This led to several employees speaking up regards to how fair the debate was going to be. We were given assurances that the debate would be fair, and neither the Harris campaign nor the Trump campaign would have an unfair advantage. Concerns regarding journalistic integrity. It is my belief that contemporary news organizations, including ABC News, no longer adhere to the impartiality, The influence of commercial interest and substantial donors appeared to affect news presentation, all this stuff we know, resulting in selective reporting and biased narratives. I have personally witnessed news stories being cut from programming and not reported, all due to the influences of certain corporations linked to our parent company. Observations pertaining to debate fairness. I have noticed specific instances related to the debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris to raise concerns about procedural fairness. The specific instances of perceived bias are as follows. They write. Here's a few. The Harris campaign received particular accommodations, including, but not limited to, the providing of a podium significantly smaller than that used of Donald Trump and assurances regarding split-screen television views that would favorably impact Kamala Harris as Harris's appearance relative to Donald Trump. It was agreed that Donald Trump would be subjected to fact-checking during the debate, while Kamala Harris would not face comparable scrutiny. This was widely known throughout the company that Donald Trump would be fact-checked. In fact, various people were assigned to fact-check observations it was perceived candidate Trump would make during this debate. In fact, Harris's campaign required assurances that Donald Trump would be fact-checked. This was done via multiple communications with Harris's campaign, whereas the Trump campaign was not included in these negotiations. To my understanding, any rules, negotiations, and conversations pertaining to the debate should have had both the Trump and the Harris campaign involved. The Harris campaign had numerously more calls regarding the debate rules without the Trump campaign aware on the call. The Harris campaign was involved with sample questions that, while not exact questions covering similar topics, that would appear during the debate. Page number 4, and I'm making sure I'm documenting all of these. Furthermore, the Harris campaign imposed restrictions on the scope of questioning, including no questions regarding the perceived health of Joe Biden, no inquiries related to her tenure as Attorney General in San Francisco, no questions concerning her brother-in-law, Tony West, who faces allegations of embezzling billions of dollars in taxpayer funds and who may be involved in her administration if elected. Internal organizational climate. I have observed a pronounced bias against Donald Trump within ABC News. Employees express favorable views towards him, experience significant concerns about political retribution. Purpose and documentation of affidavit. This affidavit is executed to document and provide transparency regarding the issues of fairness, impartiality in the debate process, and broader concerns about journalistic integrity at ABC News. Lastly, page number 5. This affidavit has been signed and notarized on September 9th, 2024, to ensure that the allegations set forth are formally documented prior to the debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. In addition to notarizing this affidavit, I have sent a certified letter to myself, postmarked September 9th, 2024, which will remain unopened for any further investigations. I've also dispatched a Federal Express package containing this affidavit sent on September 9th, 2024, and delivered to my residence on September 10th, 2024, which will remain unopened for potential investigative purposes. Furthermore, I have sent a certified letter to Speaker Mike Johnson dated September 9th, 2024, to establish a record that the correspondence was sent before the debate commenced. Additionally, for further investigation, I have secretly recorded several conversations that will prove that the Harris campaign insisted upon not only fact-checking of Donald Trump, but also insisted on what questions were not to be asked under any circumstances, or else the Harris campaign would decline to participate in the debate. And then they signed the affidavit and send it in. Now, if indeed true, because they also sign and make these statements under penalty of perjury, if indeed this is true, isn't this election interference? I mean, it has to be. And again, if it's a hoax, let's just call it a hoax and let's get to the bottom of it. If it was established by AI, let's get to the bottom of it. I don't think that if this person is in fear of some form of retribution, that we should reveal who they are. I don't believe in that because under the current climate, I think that anybody who would expose something like this is in considerable danger if indeed what they wrote is true. If indeed they have not only documented evidence, but recorded evidence as well. But are we just going to write this off? Can you just write all of this off and say, nah, it's nothing? And it isn't like we don't have at least some sense that this was going on. Lindsay Davis, in a fluff piece in the LA Times, reveals as much. That because of the debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and because certain things were left to linger, which many people complained about, ABC News took it upon themselves to fact-check Donald Trump. That was their intent. Not only that, it was evident in the debate. All of it. Irrefutable. You cannot deny it. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. You know that's what happened. We have the tape. Now you notice that ABC News, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, a random act of journalism from ABC News, from Martha Raddatz, talking to Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey. I want you to take this into consideration. David Muir is the anchor of World News Tonight on ABC. When Kamala Harris makes the claim that there are no troops in active combat zones, you'd wonder, David Muir, what have you been doing on your job all this time? You know that. You've been reporting on attacks on service members across the country. Across the globe. Across the globe. So it's not something you need fact checkers for. You've reported on this. Unless you're just some, robot who just sits up there and just reads the teleprompter. Just whatever they put up there, some Ron Burgundy. But again, Martha Raddatz, back to my earlier point. Martha Raddatz on ABC News this Sunday.
I want to go through a few things that Kamala Harris said. She said during the debate this about the U.S. military. Let's listen.
As of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century.
Our fact checkers found that to be false, and I have a lot of experience in that area as well.
So there you go. Martha Raddatz has a lot of experience in that area. A woman who is only on the weekends that George Stephanopoulos isn't on the air. She's not on the air doing nightly news. She's not doing World News Tonight as a fill-in for David Muir. She's in the region. She's always out there. Martha Raddatz is a combat reporter. We all know that. So even she says, I've been out there too. She didn't even need the fact checkers.
Currently 900 U.S. military personnel in Syria, 2,500 U.S. troops in Iraq. All have been under regular threat from drones and missiles for months. We also have action in the Red Sea. We also, every single day, the Navy SEALs, Delta Forces, special operators can be part of any sort of deadly raid. So why would she make that claim?
Why wouldn't you bring that up during the debate? Why bring it up now when it's not important? And not only, the worst part is that why are you making an issue of Kamala Harris's statement to the governor of Massachusetts? That should have been done to Kamala Harris. Why haven't we, no interview, no asking of the campaign? You're asking some surrogate? And listen to the nonsense that's spewed by the governor.
I think what's important here, Martha, is that Kamala Harris, in contrast to Donald Trump, demonstrated herself to be commander-in-chief.
Because she has no idea who's out in war zones across the globe.
We are in a world where there are all sorts of conflicts, and it's all the more reason we need somebody who's serious
and who supports the military. And just remember,
But Governor, excuse me, but she said there is not one member of the United States military who is an active duty in a combat zone. That is not true. You say she demonstrated her ability to be commander in chief, but did she not know about these people in Syria and Iraq?
Now, how would the governor know that? She has no idea whether or not Kamala Harris doesn't know. By the way, the answer is yes, she does not know. She's a bozo. She's an idiot. Of course she doesn't know. I wouldn't trust that woman to tell me her birth date. I'm dead serious. I wouldn't trust that woman to honestly answer what day were you born. I don't think she knows. People think I'm kidding, but I don't think she has any idea.
Why would she say that?
Look, that was a comment. That was a comment in a debate. I think the point that she was trying.
Oh, we're using that as it was a debate. It was a debate. Accuracy is not important in a debate, unless it's Donald Trump, by the way. It was a comment in a debate. Now, all of a sudden, real journalism happening over at ABC News. Trust me, they know. They know. They don't have to care. But I'm telling you, I'll just say this. If a recording gets released, and trust me, I'm waiting. If a recording gets released that shows ABC News coordinating with the Harris campaign, it's over. OVER, over. They better hope it's a hoax. They better hope that it's typos and fraudulent and the guy doesn't exist or girl doesn't exist. They better hope. Cross your fingers, baby. Cross them. So those of you out there who are worried about traffic, crossing your fingers. Let's get into the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Should they cross their fingers, Mark?
Absolutely. Well, you know what? No, I don't think it's that bad this afternoon, Reese. I don't think it's a cross your finger afternoon. But if you are heading into Hartford right now, this traffic report is being brought to you by New Balance. And if you're traveling on the westbound side of 84, just a little tight approaching the Bulkley Bridge up to 47 Sigourney Street, 84 eastbound moving very well, Farmington to Vernon. 91 southbound delays 33 to 32. Again, slowing 27 to 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. Northbound 91, no problems. Cromwell up into Windsor. I think we had an accident 9 southbound in the area of exit 35. Looking at the cameras down there, I don't see anything now. Just a little slow traffic as you move from the Route 9 interchange down to 35. Then it opens up nicely. If you're traveling 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound, also in good shape, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound's a little slow, Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. Over to Waterbury, 84 eastbound slowing by 18. 84 westbound losing a little speed between 23 and 22 in Waterbury. If you are heading into the Danbury area right now, eastbound 84, some slow traffic as you move between 8 and 9 in Newtown. Again, a little tight in Newtown. 10 up to exit 11 on the eastbound side of 84. Southbound Parkway slows approaching 60 in Hamden. 95 southbound delays 46 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sponsored by New Balance, South Windsor and Avon. Come see all the new styles and classic New Balance sneakers today.
People come in all different shapes and sizes. So do their feet. This is Michael DeCibio from New Balance, South Windsor and Avon. And that's why we offer size and width combinations from women's 5 to men's 18 with widths from narrow to extra wide. New Balance at Evergreen Walk in South Windsor and in the Avon Marketplace on Route 44.
WTIC weather. Well, the rest of our Monday afternoon, mostly sunny and pleasant, the high of 82. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, mild but comfy with the low down to 54. Another beautiful late summer day on tap for Tuesday with the high of 83. There'll be a light breeze out of the south-southeast with those sunny skies. Then Wednesday, it'll be mainly cloudy, but still pretty warm with the high of 79. Thursday, mostly cloudy with chance of a little rain, the high back to 79. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. The man suspected in an apparent assassination attempt targeting former President Trump camped outside a golf course with food and a rifle for nearly 12 hours before a Secret Service agent confronted him and opened fire. That, according to court documents that were filed today. Ryan Wesley Routh, who's 58, faces charges for now of possessing a firearm despite a prior felony conviction and possessing a firearm with an obliterated serial number. More serious charges could come once the grand jury convenes. Trump blamed President Biden and Vice President Harris for the attempt in Florida today, saying, quote, their rhetoric is causing me to be shot at. Biden avoided politics, instead saying the Secret Service needs more help and resources from Congress. A fire at a mobile home park in East Hartford. Police say it happened when a demolition crew using an excavator breached a propane tank, an underground propane tank. That set off an explosion and caused the fire. 4 mobile homes were damaged. No injuries reported. Michelle Troconis was in court today to face a contempt charge stemming from her murder trial earlier this year. Troconis accused of displaying on her court computer during that trial part of a sealed psychological report on the Dulos family. She was convicted in March of murder conspiracy and other charges in the presumed death of Jennifer Farber Dulos. Latest case has been continued to November. Wall Street, the Dow finished up 228 points today. The Nasdaq lost 91 points, and the S&P was up 7. Yanks and Red Sox off tonight. Sox begin a series in Tampa tomorrow, and the Mets are hosting the Nationals tonight at Citi Field. Eastern League, the Yard Goats begin their first-round playoff match Tuesday at Somerset, and tonight's Monday Night Football tilt has the Falcons in Philly to take on the Eagles. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com.
Scallywags are late.
I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, this is Carson Daly, inviting you to be part of Odyssey's mental health initiative, I'm Listening. As a dedicated mental health advocate, it is my great honor to again be hosting this awesome 2-hour special, along with Dr. Alfie and Katie Neal, as we engage in this very meaningful conversation. Connect with us right here for I'm Listening.
September 26th at 7 p.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
This is an important U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-05. 800-727-9105.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. Oh, that's a great beat right there. I used to, when I was first started my podcast in 2012, we used to play a bit from the album. It was called the END. There's a song called The End, the END. I used to play that all the time. Rama will remember that. Anyway, Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Tomorrow, don't forget, we're going to be talking to Republican Senate candidate Matt Corey. Is going to be on the phone, 4 o'clock. We'll talk about him, talk about his opponent, talk about what he's going to do different, talk about what the response has been. We'll get to the phone calls as well, 860-522-WTIC. I said that I was going to give my review. I think no time like the present I gave you guys homework to go see the new Matt Walsh film, Am I Racist? And if you didn't go see it, you should have listened to me. You should have. Let me tell you why. First, let me give the guy a beautiful round of applause. Matt Walsh and the Daily Wire did an incredible job with this movie. They call it a comedy. It is a comedy. It is funny. It is hilarious. Matt Walsh is funny. I didn't think he was this funny, but he's really that funny. And to watch it, I said this on my Sunday show, which, by the way, yes, is taped. I just let everybody know, yes, it is taped. Okay, cat's out of the bag now. But I said this on my Sunday show, was that the best part about watching that movie was watching my wife respond to it. She sat next to me because we had to go to a late showing because the one earlier was sold out. We had to go to a late show, and I think we got home roughly about 1 o'clock in the morning. And to watch my wife lose it throughout the entire movie, what the hell, really? This, no way. Like, because it's nothing more than a sort of behind-the-scenes look at the seminars for DEI and anti-racism. That's what Matt Walsh did. And you hear these people in their own voices talking about what they believe and what they say in their minds is true. And for a woman, and again, this is my point, for a woman who I met 3 years ago, who was very pro Black Lives Matter, who was very pro DEI, watched this movie and completely got awake. You remember they used to use the term red pilling? Oh, yeah. My wife was, forget about it. There's red pills everywhere. It was really, it is worth going to see if you're going out to the movies. I highly recommend it. 4 out of 5 stars. That's Am I Racist, the film by Matt Walsh. Go see it in theaters now. Now let's get back into the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Do you still go to the movies, buddy? I think I asked you that before.
I can't remember the last time I went to a movie in the theater.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
You watch it? Do you watch everything at home? Just everything at home?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't watch a lot of television. I don't watch a lot of movies. It's all sports with me. That's pretty much the only thing I
think it's an age thing because I can't watch anything on television anymore. I'm just done. I think you're right. It's sports now.
CSI this, CSI that. They're all the same to me. It's like, you know what? If like the Bunkers and MASH and Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And
we're just not going to get that TV anymore.
Yeah. I mean, if those kinds of shows were on, the quality of those shows, Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah.
Those kind of shows I would watch because they were funny and they were, I don't know, they kept my attention.
Yeah. We're never going back there. Never going back there.
It just doesn't happen for me anymore. Hey, if you're heading, I'm living 40 years in the past. I understand that. Southbound 91 coming into Hartford a little slow at 32 A and B, and again 27 to 28. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge into the tunnel. 84 eastbound, no problems. Farmington into Vernon. 291 through 84 okay. So the River 2 eastbound is moving well, Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing at the Aragoni Bridge. Waterbury looks good, 84 to 8. 84 eastbound Newtown a little slow, 10 to 11. Southbound Parkway a little tight, getting by 60 in Hamden. 95 southbound New Haven slows 46 to exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
After a beautiful day, a nice night for us. Partly cloudy. It'll be mild but comfy with the low down to 56. Then sunny skies. A gorgeous late summer day for Tuesday. The high of 83. There'll be a light breeze out of the south-southeast. Wednesday, mainly cloudy. The high 79. Still mostly cloudy on Thursday. The high of 76. Cloudy with a chance for a little rain finally on Friday. The high of 72. Sun and some areas of low cloud Saturday. The high 71. And another gorgeous day to round out the weekend with a mix of clouds and sun. Sunday, the high of 70. Right now, Waterbury 72, New Haven at 73, Hartford 79. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
The Red Sox road trip continues in Tampa Bay.
Ball is driven back to right field, way back.
The Sox and Rays get started tomorrow night at 6:10 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
At the Carter Mario Law Firm, we've recovered over $1 billion for injured people. When you need someone to fight for you, you need to get Carter in your corner. Visit getcarter.com or call us at 877-GET-CARTER.
If you're hearing this commercial, chances are you're less than 20 minutes away from the closest Awaken 180, a once-a-week lunch break, a quick stop on the way from work, minutes away from proven weekly weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Neurenstein Horowitz and Associates knows it's easy to put off creating a living trust. Here's a simple way for you to take the first step. A free consultation to those who participate in our public seminars. Creating a living trust provides financial security for your family's future, and it eliminates any possible confusion. Attend one of our seminars, September 17th in Rocky Hill, September 18th in Orange, September 19th in Bloomfield, or September 21st in Norwalk. Visit preserveyourestate.net for more information.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Bash, a spine surgeon here at Middlesex Health Center for Spine Surgery. By the time most patients come to us, they've typically suffered for years from back pain, difficulty walking, or numbness. And while we're experts in minimally invasive, robotic-assisted spine surgeries, we always try to exhaust all non-surgical options first. We'll help you find the treatment that's right for you, so you can get back to doing what you love faster. To learn more about why we're leaders in outpatient spine surgery, visit middlesexhealth.org/spine.
Paid for by government.
Oh, minute.
A hoard of 1932 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1932 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1932 dated gold coin featuring Lady Liberty with an Indian war headdress and a majestic eagle. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1932 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 92 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-520-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus over a $55 pre-order. Call 1-800-520-6468 now to secure your 1932 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Don't wait. You must act fast. Call now.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
Nice to have it back.
Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, I missed you. That little music, Ben. I missed you so much. Welcome back. Anyway, Reese on the Radio. We're about to get out of here, and I know when we've had Mark Fitch on for a whole hour, so I haven't been able to get to a lot of phone calls. And I completely understand if you're frustrated today, but there was a lot of stuff that we had promised to get into today. But back to the phones we go. Let's go to Jeff in Marlboro. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, hey, Reese. Two quickies, okay?
Yes, sir.
So when I called in after the first assassination attempt on Trump, and I told them this came from the top down, and they said, let it play out. Let this man do what he wants to do. You in so many words called me crazy. It seems like you agree with me more now.
Yeah, well, when you said let this guy do what he's going to do, you mean talk about Donald Trump going, not the sheltering sort of limiting his exposure, so to speak.
No, I'm saying they told the Secret Service, let this assassin do what he's going to do.
Oh, okay, yes, right. In other words, that you were saying that you may believe that they were complicit, or at least sort of let him roam the grounds so he can get a beat on Donald Trump. And you're asking whether or not I agree with you now today. Here's what I'll say as far as what your question is. It's not so much whether or not I agree with you. Here's what I'm saying as far as what the tone is, right? I'm only going by what the tone is, like in and around this subject. And that is...
Yeah, but I don't want the tone. I want your opinion.
Okay, I'm going to give you my opinion. My opinion is based upon whatever... I believe that the Secret Service, Department of Homeland Security, FBI, CIA, whoever it is, if indeed there is someone involved in some way, right? We just heard in an update that this guy, Ralph, was on the FBI had been watching him since 2019, right? So we know they had a beat on this guy. So yes, it looks like, and you're right, I can't dispute what you're saying. It looks like someone may have known that this guy was volatile and may have allowed him to just roam because, again, he had weapons of mass destruction. There were other times where he had a machine gun And this guy was just out and about, allowed to travel back and forth to Ukraine. He was involved in trying to get Afghans to fight for Ukraine. This guy was featured in articles. It was like he was allowed to just do whatever he wanted to do and be volatile online, and no one ever put a stop to this guy. So yes, does it lend itself to believe that what you thought about this may indeed be true? I'm telling you, you got a lot more credibility as of today. I'll definitely agree with you there.
I think so. And the part two, I'll make it quick, is this whistleblower from ABC better watch his behind.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. This is the end game.
Or else he'll wind up in the park with a suicide note into his.
Indeed. Like I said, I think to your earlier question, though, I think you're spot on. I think that, look, I'm really reluctant. I say this to Joe and Simsbury. I'm really reluctant to jump on the conspiracy theory thing, and I hate using that term because, again, when they use conspiracy theory, they never call it a lie. I don't jump into them. I need qualified evidence. It's not about I need ABC News to qualify for me. I just need other factors. I just read a report or just saw a report on X where they've already made a connection between Crooks, the first assassin, and this one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's a report out. And in fact, I'm going to see if I can get, because I wouldn't play it live because I didn't know if there was any language in it. But I'm going to play it tomorrow where there are published reports that Crooks in Baker may have made a payment to Ralph. But for what, no one knows. Like I said, this is just a report. Again, I cannot confirm nor deny this is truth. But if that's a connection, again, this goes back to my earlier monologue. This is the reason why they've got to step up their game on protecting both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Because someone sees this as a political win or political benefit. They will. Trust me, the news media will aid and abet in that.
I'll tell you one last thing. This is the 21st century. You can't cover up things like you did in 1963.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Because right now, everybody, and it's further than when people started recording things on their phones. Now these people have become bloodhounds. Now they're all investigative journalists. No matter where you look, there is a person who is digging and is getting information that, one, we know that the legacy news media doesn't even care to look into. But there now are people who are outside of that medium who are delving in and they're finding out. Like I said, I always go back to the Dan Rather expose in the George W. Bush case, the CBS 60 Minutes 2 case. This guy got destroyed by a blogger. You understand that? Yep. You took down a blogger took down Dan Rather, and everyone was shocked by that.
A 50-year news guy.
Yeah, exactly. Was taken down by a guy who many believed was sitting in his mother's basement with a computer, and he destroyed the career of a legacy news anchor. Destroyed him. And this is, what I mean? And that's where we are right now. Every guy with the means is an investigative journalist, and that guy, he is one story away from becoming the biggest deal in news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's got an eye on it.
Exactly. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Mike's in Plainville. Thanks for holding. How are you, Mike?
These people are so arrogant. Arrogance will get you killed. It'll get you in trouble. Now, we're going back years to like Clinton's, Obama, bin Laden, okay? These people lie with impunity, and they don't care if they get caught or not. They don't care if people have proof on them. They don't care how many whistleblowers come. Because I'll tell you, this woman, she's got mental problems, Harris. She started talking about people owning those pretty houses and looking at their pretty lawns.
Oh my goodness. I did. That was
this woman.
People really respect their lawns. This is a serious person. Again, I laugh at everyone who talks about how they're supporting her. And I'm going, this woman said in a serious conversation that she lived with people who cared about their lawns. The question was, what are you going to alleviate people's economic struggles? And
hey,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
The people, I didn't mean to interrupt you. People
No, you're
behind the scenes, they're trying to come up with a third shooter. I swear to God, this job is out to bid.
Again, listen.
That's scary. That's scary. Now, when you think about that, we've had 2 attempts.
Mm-hmm.
Would it surprise you to have a third or a fourth?
No,
it
at this.
surprise me anymore.
I think we were at. Listen, I do believe, and a lot of people were saying that at the first attempt, with of course the behavior of the Secret Service, everything that we found out so far, and there's so much more that we don't know. But with Kim Cheadle and the acting director now, with everything that we're learning now that people are being, even our own Richard Blumenthal came out of a hearing. No, I'm just saying. He came out of a hearing and said what he learned, the American people are going to be appalled. This guy is anti-Trump. He said he got out of that meeting realizing that the American people are going to be appalled at what they found out, which means what?
The people that think these federal, state, local agencies, I mean, you've got a lot of officers and agents retiring, and it's very difficult to get good, qualified, cleared people to do this kind of work. They can't keep up. There's more people moving out than there are moving in.
Yeah, and look, a
lot of these jobs are burnout jobs. Secret Service, they send you from one detail to the next.
Yep,
you don't get much time off.
Again, like
same with the FBI.
All of these agencies right now, the way in which the Washington has been operating, this idea that we finally have adults in the room, we have found now that it's romper room in there. It's a Fisher Price operation going on in these agencies.
How come no one has gotten together and gotten this scumbag, this liar, this sneering little pig, Mayorkas? That's what he is.
And that's the truth, because again, Secret Service is part of the Department of Homeland Security, and of course, we're finding out Department of Homeland Security what was part of the detail in Butler, Pennsylvania. So, there that goes. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you, sir. This is look, and I think Mike is somewhat right. Like, even if we do find out that this whistleblower is telling the truth, even if there is recorded evidence of this, ABC News, you can't fire Lindsay Davis, and you can't fire what's his name, David Muir, because they were all involved. It was ABC News that decided to do this in the debate, to interfere. Now, we know that the Department of Justice is not going to get involved, even if there's clear evidence that this is election interference. You can't call it anything else, but they won't get involved. They won't even budge on it. They won't. So what does it do? Now, I'll tell you the truth. Many people in the media already fear, you've heard this from folks over at MSNBC. They said if Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, my job may be at stake. They may get rid of this network. Well, look, if ABC News is involved in interfering in an election and there's evidence of it, I'm sorry, folks, but perhaps there should be criminal charges against the people who were involved. You don't have to get rid of the entire network. You have to indicate who indeed is involved, even if it's the brass. We do know that some of the bigwigs over at ABC News are good friends with Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff, her husband. So if they're engaged in election interference, perhaps they should be charged. And if we don't have to wait for Merrick Garland to do it. We could do it right after November elections. When Donald Trump wins, direct the Department of Justice to investigate, to get the evidence, and to charge them criminally. That's all we have to do. If they believe so effusively about interfering in an election, Donald Trump, January 6th, trying to stop the certification of an election. If they truly do believe in that, then they should be against it on all fronts. They should definitely. I'm just saying, and I don't think Donald Trump in this case. I know everybody says he could have sent the Department of Justice after Hillary Clinton, but he thought that would divide the country, so he thought better of it. I don't know about you, but I say the hell with that now. I know a lot of you are saying that too. It's like the hell with it now. Especially after a second assassination attempt. It's like, especially with people calling you Hitler, Especially with people talking about how you need to eliminate them. I'm just saying, right? I mean, you got guys saying this.
It's just unquestionable at this point that man cannot see public office again. He is not only unfit, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
Got to be eliminated. I mean, how do you not put the full weight of the federal government on election interference at that level where people are conspiring with the opposition party? I think you got to do it. Donald Trump said it best at the debate.
I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy.
That's right. And what should he do about it? Well, it's the same thing that they want to do to him. Criminally charge. With evidence, of course. Not just retribution. Just make sure that you have the evidence to do so. All right? Don't forget, tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Everyone's been asking for it. We're finally going to have our conversation with Republican Senate candidate Matt Corey. That'll be at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We'll talk to him, of course, about his campaign and how well he's doing, whether or not the people of the state are receiving him well, and what his platform is for the state. And we'll talk about some other stuff as well. I've actually got some interviews he sent me. I think yesterday they wants me to look at, but I'll take a look at those. All right, so we'll be back tomorrow with all of that and much, much more. And, of course, your phone calls. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Don't forget to go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com each day at 3 p.m. for the stupidest thing I've read today. He is Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. If you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the eastbound side of 84.
All right, good, sir.
Thank you, sir. See you tomorrow.
See you mañana.
No big deal. Southbound 91's a little slow, getting by 33 Jennings Road. Northbound 91 looks good. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 through 84. That looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well. Glastonbury into Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury 84 westbound a little slow as you push up on the Mixmaster. If you are traveling into the Meriden area right now, just a little bit slow as.
Okay, dokie, artichoke. You guys be good. Thank you very much. Have a good Monday. Thank you, Michael A. Always appreciate you saying that. You guys be good to each other. All right, talk to you then.